I'll call to order this concurrent meeting, the School Administrative Unit Number 12, Londonderry School District and the Londonderry School Board, today, Tuesday, May 20th at 7 o'clock p.m. If you'd all rise, please, we'll have Eagle Scout Mike Roberts lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you could all remain standing for one moment, I'd just like to take a minute to pause and remember Maria Burns, our food service supervisor at Londonderry Middle School, who passed away last week. Thank you.
The town council is still having a moment of silence here. Can we kill this projector?
Peter, is it coming through there or is it coming through the
Not for me.
video?
Take the blame.
Can somebody just check with the booth and see if they can
They are.
put that down? Oh, they are?
Turn it
Thanks. All right. Thank you. We've Okay, well, there we go.
He's got a screwdriver.
The technology wizard is at it now.
Yeah.
I think that's how it plans to give a presentation.
That could be, but we don't want to monkey with too many of these things. Okay, we do have a few announcements and presentation or two, and then we have got some public comment that I know about. I think what I'd like to do first is Mr. Elefante, if you'd come forward for your announcement that we got last Friday. We have to tell Rich these things sometimes.
Well, actually, I'm very honored tonight, and actually very coincidental, we have a number of high school teachers in the back of the room, which is very appropriate. As you all know by now, Londonderry High School, last Friday, actually last Thursday at our pep rally, received the news that we were the 2008 High School School of Excellence School of the Year. First of all, this honor is something I think the whole community should share and could share. Certainly the high school is sort of the end product of where our students end up, but we certainly share this honor with the other 5 schools in town, the community, all the staffs of those 5 schools, district office, school board, parents, and of course all the students. Just to give you a little feel for it, it's sort of not just something that they just pick one high school. Just look at names and pick it. As a matter of fact, it's a lot more than we thought. Basically, way back in the fall, applications are sent out to all the superintendents and all the schools to apply for this prestigious honor. Superintendent Greenberg asked us to consider applying. We did, going in saying this would be a good experience for us with our accreditation coming up in 2 years, 3 years. So we went in saying this would be a good self-study for us. Basically, the first process was to fill out an application. So we formed a committee at school. We had 3 teachers on that committee, Scott Sicard, Amity Ferrara, and Paul Dutton. They volunteered. Coincidentally, they were all former students of Londonderry High School. We had 2 students, Craig Enos and Jamie Sullivan, and we had 4 administrators, myself, Mr. Parent, Mr. Salidas, and Ms. Sullivan. And we started out with help from other staff members getting information to address the 6 areas that we needed to address in an application. Area 1 was curriculum and instruction. Area 2 was the teaching and learning process. Area 3 was student achievement. Area 4 was community and parent involvement. Area 5 was leadership and decision-making, and Area 6 was school climate. Many high schools applied. About 7 or 8 high schools were asked to go on to the next step, which was to meet in Concord with a committee of about 12 people to present those 6 areas live to them and to give backup to defend our application and then to answer questions about that application. We did go up there, and then we were informed that we were still in the process for a site visit. When the site visit came, that's when everybody else got involved. The whole school was involved. A number of school board members were involved. Parents were involved. Community members were involved. And they once again came and spent a good 3 to 4 hours at our school and rated us on those areas. And truly, it was a rating system. We didn't know that's the way it was going to be, but they had rubrics set up, and they actually scored all the schools in these areas. And then, as you know, we were the schools selected. So truly, it was an amazing process. It was a great self-study process, but truly was an honor for the Londonderry community. And as principal, I'm proud to officially announce that in front of the board tonight. So if you have any questions, go right ahead, but it's something I think we should all be proud of.
We agree with you, Jim. Thanks, Jim. We appreciate that, and congratulations to everybody at the high school and all the other schools and within the district. Well, that's not the only, that's not the only announcement of awards we have this evening. There's a couple more. This is getting to be a regular thing around here, and we really enjoy that. First off, Flora Sapson was voted the Student Council Advisor of the Year by the New Hampshire Association of Student Councils. So that is a great honor for Flora. Thank you. Mr. Elefante was voted the Student Council's Principal of the Year by the New Hampshire Association of Student Councils. Jim, you're going to have to put another wing on the house for all the awards and trophies. Hey, listen, if they keep playing the way that they're playing, you could get that call from Mr. Steinbrenner before the end of the season. What else? Let's see. Pauline Pichette is a finalist of New Hampshire Teacher of the Year. So congratulations, Pauline. This is one that I really love. Our own Mr. Greenberg. The superintendent was named School Administrator of the Year by the New Hampshire Educational Media Association at its annual conference in Nashua. Mr. Greenberg, congratulations. Nate has got whatever it is librarians are loving. Is this second, third thing going this year, Nate? Tell you, you got him beat. And we do have a rather bittersweet departure this evening. Lisa Detweiler, our student council representative, has going to graduate in, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? When is it? I don't even know. June 14th. I'll be there.
27 days, I think.
Oh, we're not counting or anything, no, are we, Lisa? Lisa's done a great job this year in serving with us here on the board. It's certainly been a pleasure to have her here. And we do have a little something for you, Lisa, so here you go. Use it well. We'll just embarrass you another second if you want to introduce your newly elected replacement.
This is Chris Janito, your new school board representative.
Chris, thanks for stepping up and volunteering and being elected. Congratulations.
It's an honor.
We'll see next year whether you think so.
No.
We'll see in a year. Lisa, best of luck in all that you do. You will be missed. Thank you very much for your time with us. All right, let's see. And why don't we move to Eagle Scout Mike Roberts? Why don't you come on down? Joined by Ms. Mack.
It was working.
I'm very pleased to introduce everyone, if you haven't met him already, to Mike Roberts. And he is a Life Scout who's working toward his Eagle rank. And actually, he was in Mr. Young's pack, 901, back in the old days. He also was in Mrs. Slozak's 4th grade class. And I understand that Mr. Robinson was his Weeplow Den leader for several years. So
No,
he's
Mr. Roberts was his Weblow's Den leader. I had Wolf and Bear.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. Okay. Okay. I think, and really, the big news is that he was at the no-hitter last night. So, yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry, you're not a Yankees fan? We prefer Yankees fans, I just want to point that out. Figured I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, it was really it was unbelievable. It's hard to put into words. Seeing something special like that, but how about those Yankees?
A born diplomat. Born diplomat.
Well, anyway, I invited Mike to come because he's been working toward the Eagle rank, and he did an Eagle project that has been wonderful for Matthew Thornton School. So you want to share it? Shall
Sure.
I run the PowerPoint?
Well, one of us.
Yeah, somebody
Thank
should
you,
run
Mr.
that
Carroll.
probably.
Back in about last summer, I was looking for an Eagle project to do, and I called Mrs. Mack and talked to her about something that I could do for the school. And she said that the Bob Shea Nature Trail, something that was really important to her and really important to the school, really needed some renovation. Up on the screen there, you'll see some pictures of what it looked like before, and in a few minutes, you'll see what it looks like now. When I found it in the summer, it was basically looks exactly like you see there. A lot of the trail had been overgrown. Trees had fallen over the trail. It was really in a state where no one could use it. I didn't use it when I was in elementary school, and I thought this would be a really great project. This would be something that kids could go on, to get a break from school, and it was something that I would really appreciate. I would have appreciated when I was there. So I have spent, I guess, a whole year. It's almost summer again, working on this project. Me and a whole bunch of boys from the troop, as well as my family, have been making different renovations to the trail, clearing it out, adding a little definition to the trail. We also added a bench and a new sign. There's some pictures of me and my dad working on it there. Also, I did a bake sale to raise some money to be able to contribute some new things, such as new trail markers to the trail. But we've put a lot of work into it, and I'm really happy with how it's come out, and I really hope that people in the future, a lot of kids, will be able to use it and will be able to experience nature a little bit, to get a break from the classroom, especially in the summer months when they're all itching to get out of their chairs and they're all waiting for summer. They can get out of school a little bit and experience nature firsthand. And these are some of the finished product pictures of it. It's a lot more open. There's a lot more definition to the trail. In one part, I don't have a picture of this, but I lined it with trees that had been cut down in the area, so you can really, walk along the path and know where you're going. Also, we had to extend the trail because it kind of just ended into forest. So you ended up walking into bushes, so we had to clear the trail a little bit. So it was definitely quite a task. It was about 1,000 feet of trail that we cleared. So.
And we greatly appreciate it. The staff is already making plans to use the trail, and we just greatly appreciate it. And Mike is the son of proud parents, Mike and Barbara Roberts, and we're just thrilled that he was able to do this for us. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, don't run away so quick. I actually have a question for you. How many hours did you guys spend doing that?
Probably with man hours, between myself, my family, and all the boys, it ended up being about 200 hours.
That's great. That really is terrific. And any other questions from the board?
Just congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. Good luck. When's your board of review?
June 4th.
Good luck. I know you'll do well. Yes.
When do you turn 18?
I turned 18 May 13th, but once you're given, once you submit your application, you're given 60 days to have a board of review.
Right. Yeah.
You pass.
If I pass.
Oh, you'll pass. We have confidence in you.
Yeah.
Mr. Young and I,
Believe me, I cut it just about as close as
I was going to say, Mr. Young and I have signed more than one application literally in the 12th hour. So congratulations, good luck, and you
And
do us
please-
proud.
Please do let us know when the award ceremony is.
Yeah, let us know when that is, and we will make sure to acknowledge that. Thanks again, Mike. We appreciate that. Thank you, Mike.
George, like to make mention that Chris Thompson is directing the broadcast tonight. Chris, could you lock down on the camera on the back wall on a wide shot and open the door, please? We'll wait. Chris Thompson was one of 5 filmmakers recognized at the 2008 New Hampshire High School Short Film Festival held last weekend in Concord. Chris's 7-minute film, Erased, was a jury award finalist. His film will be included on a 1-hour DVD that will feature the 5 award-winning films, along with brief interviews with each of the filmmakers. The showcase will be distributed to every community access television station in the state for public airing. Winning films will also be screened at the New Hampshire Film Festival in Portsmouth in October of 2008 and the somewhat north of Boston, or Snob Film Festival, in Concord in November of 2008. So congratulations, Chris, and I'd like to ask if we could invite Chris to show his film at an upcoming meeting.
Oh, I think that'd be great. So Nate, if you could do that. Chris, congratulations.
Thank you.
And before I go to Sean and X2, I know Councilor Farmer has something he'd like to discuss with us, so I will ask him to come forward so that he and Councilor Brown can be on their way. Although they will,
They show up on time.
no problem. I mean, if you want to wait, we can do that. It's completely up to you.
I think we'll go ahead. That way you can go on with the rest of your agenda.
Thanks, Brian.
George?
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the invitation.
Just 1 second before you start, Brian. If you don't mind, I'm going to go sit in the audience on this one since my wife is a
Absolutely.
employee who is covered by the pension process.
Okay. Thanks, John.
George, my wife is a librarian at North School and is covered, but I'm going to sit right here because this is just a discussion, isn't it?
It's
We're
just
not
a discussion
making any
of a-
action or doing anything
There may
specific.
be action on your part that's up for the
Then
board.
Yeah,
I'll recluse myself
at the appropriate time then?
if that's appropriate.
Okay. If-
I don't know if it
We're
is or
up
not.
to you.
You're back to two.
But I'm going to sit here. I like this chair.
You're back to two again.
I don't blame you.
My wife is covered by this program.
Oh, your wife is covered by this program as well?
Correct.
Okay, so.
Oh. I have no retirement at all, so I'm staying here.
And my wife's not covered by any retirement, so I guess you got Steve and I if we're going to take action, so.
Okay, well, that would be
Thank you.
welcome. Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity to come speak to you tonight. I'm speaking on behalf of the council, who voted last night by consensus of the majority members to support sending a letter to our state senator and our House of Representatives delegation, encouraging them to support House Bill 1645 in the upcoming committee of conference with the Senate. The Senate, as you know, has passed a different version, and we're concerned about the impacts of this future change to the pension system. Councilor Brown had shown me a note. I'd like to speak to it now, if it's okay. That what we're talking about here in both of these bills, and what will be the resultant bill coming out of the committee of conference, has absolutely no effect on any current employees. This is a reform to the pension system and its structure for those who would be hired in the future. So we're not talking about our current employee base. We're talking about reforming the system in the future and what that would mean for the community's taxpayers. So I know that there's been some communication from our chairman to you about this letter. There's been a request that we ask you to join the council as signatories to the letter, and at the very least, use the letter that the council has had drafted and prepared and then authorize the release of as the means of generating your own letter to our state delegation so that they can understand what our wishes are and hopefully the wishes of our community at large going forward with this. The importance of these changes, I guess I'd like to just say that numerical values are often those that most represent the significance of a change. The fiscal year 10 change for the town of Londonderry, without this reform, there would be a retirement pension benefit system impact to the taxpayers for both the school district and the town side of $1.4 million. We don't reference that amount in the letter. We're not looking at the specifics in the letter. We're looking at the reform issues themselves, and we understand that through the Committee of Conference, there's liable to be changes and give and take towards, one way or the other on this. With this reform, if it were to go fully within the HB 1645 framework, that would be, there would be a savings of $1.1 million to the taxpayers of Londonderry. So we think that this is a significant issue. It would allow us to address our budgets and our budgetary concerns in other ways, and basically free up some of our headspace and some of our budget and what we're looking at without a detrimental impact to current employees and with a significant impact to the current taxpayers. So we're here tonight to ask you to join us in signing the letter, or in the very least, to draft a letter of your own, and for the school board to advocate on behalf of the taxpayers with the state delegation.
Thanks, Brian.
That's
Peter,
the gist of the message.
thanks. Peter, do you know the impact that this is going to have on the district and our portion of this tax bill?
We're using, the LGC had a calculator that everybody was asked to fill in. And our number is 623,000.
Now, is that number what we'd have to make up in a shortfall, or is that an ongoing?
What the calculator asks is, using FY07 salaries, so the last audited salaries, or the last actuals for an entire year, it asks you what is the difference between if House Bill 1645 does or does not pass. And so for us, the calculation comes into $623,000 as an increase if 1645 does not pass.
If it does not pass, our increase is 623,000.
Well, the impact of not passing 1645 is 623,000.
Okay. So if it passes, we remain the same?
Yes. If it doesn't pass,
Right.
okay, then it would be $623,000 above.
What we paid, or
Yes.
last year's was,
Right.
or whatever that number
Right.
is. Okay. So then, in a nutshell, the support that we are being asked to provide would save us $623,000 if this passes.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make that clear so that I understand it. If I'm not mistaken, was it last year or 2 years ago, we also had a lump sum payment that we had to come up with?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, it was
Two-year-
about $800,000, somewhere in that area? What was the town's that year? It was
That was about 840,000 combined.
combined, okay.
40 combined, I think.
We were
was
about 600 or.
Yeah, I know we were the biggest chunk of it.
just under 6, I believe.
Okay, so it's about the same number. I mean, there's no doubt that the whole retirement system needs to be dealt with. I've got no problem supporting it, whether I support it as a citizen or, I don't know how we can do it if,
Yeah, I have a question on that.
Yep.
The estimated 1.4 million, did that include our 623,000?
The estimate of, it's 1.49, and the notes, information that we got from Dave was that the school's share of that was slightly higher than what you had from the calculator, but it was 962,000.
Yeah, we used, we used FY09. This was FY07. I don't know what
Okay.
906. We did FY09 up at 675.
Must be more.
And the town's portion of that 1.49 is 530,000. So that's the impact.
Okay, so the 1.49 is the total tax impact
Total
to the
tax
residents of
impact
the
of
town
the
of
year.
Londonderry. Okay,
The both,
Yep.
both pockets, same pair of pants type of concept.
absolutely.
Wonder if there's a
Absolutely.
county impact, too.
I don't know.
I would assume, Steve, that it might include some portion of the county impact, which would be a minimal amount.
You said that this will not affect any existing employee.
That's the information we got from the town manager.
So if it won't affect any existing employee, why would Marty recuse himself if it wouldn't be affecting him? And I'm not picking on Marty. I'm trying to use it to help these guys understand, should they be stepping down from a discussion or a decision on this? If it wouldn't affect their family.
Marty's vote or motion to recuse himself was not so much to avoid voting on something in support of the change, as also he would be voting on something not in support of the change, should it go either way. In his belief, either position he took was something he would personally benefit from, and therefore it was grounds for him to abstain from the vote or recuse himself.
But, and again, I'm not at all targeting Marty on it, but you said it wouldn't affect an existing employee. So everyone, and we have a bunch in the room, in the back.
We know that.
They're all, so they would all be grandfathered. Your opinion is that they would all be grandfathered and it wouldn't affect them at all.
That's the understanding that we got from the town manager, and I'm not sure, even from last night's discussion and the discussion that we'd had prior, that point was fully understood by everybody on the council, and may have entered into the fact of Councilor Doty's decision.
Yeah, and I mean,
So would our human resources, in their opinion, then be, if this were to pass, it wouldn't affect all of these people, but the new teachers coming in the fall, it would affect?
I would encourage you that before you add your voice to this type of letter, or send a letter of your own, you verify that.
Right.
Through
yeah,
Peter
I think that's
Peter
what we'll, I
Converse.
think that's what we'll do, Brian, and Mike, is go ahead and do that. And I just want to say, I certainly respect Marty's opinion, and, if he chooses to recuse himself, that's fine. I mean, that's no issue, as the same with these gentlemen, so.
Just real briefly, Mr.
Councilor
Chairman.
Brown, yep.
Numbers aside, the math speaks for itself. We know what the impact was 2 years ago, and we are looking at an impact that's significantly higher in FY10 if the bill doesn't pass. But more importantly, if you read the town manager's letter, he clearly defines 4 distinct areas where we collectively, as a council, 4 of us felt were reforms that needed to be made. There's been enough press about the state of the New Hampshire retirement system. Nate could speak to that himself if he wanted to. And when you have a system that needs correction, you need to take action. And we felt that the House bill, which previously passed in a previous session, passed by a significantly wide margin by our House of Representatives, the Senate, for some reason, decided to go completely diametrically the other way. So we're now in this committee of conference. But it's our view, if you read that letter, that this bill, House Bill 1645, as it's currently constructed, makes the changes that need to be made, both short-term and long-term. And in talking to Dave Karen about the current employees, the local government center did assess that this bill, as it's currently constructed, would not affect the pension benefits or terms of retirement for current employees. And I believe you should, reach out to Dave and confirm that as well to feel more comfortable. And if that's the case, which I believe it is, then we strongly support these changes because we feel they're needed. So we're here to ask you to review the letter.
Yep.
Come to some decision on your own behalf as to whether you feel comfortable supporting it with us. And we absolutely appreciate you taking time out of a very busy agenda to give us, an opportunity to speak to you tonight.
No, and I appreciate you gentlemen coming in, and it's just one more way that we can cooperate and move the town forward the way that we need to move it forward. With that, Steve, you got anything else to? Ed, I don't know where you guys stand on this, if you want to make a comment, or you choose not to, or?
I have to agree with the counselors. I'll make a comment. I have to agree with the counselors. It's necessary changes to the retirement bill. It's fundamental changes to the way they do business up there, and I think it's a good thing.
Ben, do you have anything?
I agree.
Okay. John, you still gonna stay by recusing yourself?
That, and I have nothing to add.
Okay. Nate?
I'm just talking procedurally,
Yep.
because obviously could be the beneficiary.
You think?
What I have procedurally.
Yep.
We can get clarification from Dave
Mhm.
regarding the impact, because obviously that has an impact on how sitting members of the board might view this or not view that. So I guess what we would be happy to do to facilitate the board's thinking is get a clarification from Dave on the specifics, and we can get that out to everyone.
Yep.
And then we have another board meeting in 2 weeks. Is that too late for you,
I
or?
think that might end up being too late. And that's
Okay,
the point I
well-
wanted to raise, is that the committee of conference actually, I believe, has already been
Yeah.
appointed and will start their discussions tomorrow.
Okay, so, I mean,
Expected to last
We
about
can get that
2 weeks
information
before
out.
they have something.
perhaps, I mean, is it pretty much consensus that we're willing to support this action? I
If
mean,
it's already at committee of conference,
Right.
you know, typically,
It's too late.
yeah,
right.
that's-
Right.
Well, Ben
I was-
would know for sure, so.
Yeah.
I was just an hour and a half ago with 3 or 4 reps, and their comment was, this is already going to conference tomorrow, and,
This is too late.
yeah.
It won't make any difference.
But I have found them to be very receptive when I drop them emails, and the majority of them will vote to support what I'm trying to guide them towards.
It's my understanding that the council's letter with our signatures went today.
It went today,
It went today.
okay.
Via email, via post, and there was one other method of transmittal overnight or something, but we sent ours today.
Even if they go into the committee of conference, will they still get the letter, Ben, procedurally? I mean, will they still
Send them a letter, but
get it?
they're not our reps.
Yep.
Unless they're involved in the conference committee.
Right. Yeah, that part I
Probably
understood.
don't have a lot of influence as
Okay.
to how this turns out.
Well, we can certainly get on the record, though, I would think. I mean, that may be of value going forward, so. If I've got a consensus that we can move forward, I think we'll have Peter check that, Nate, and then through your coordination, maybe in the next day or two, we can get this done.
As long as we have our experts here, both of who have served.
Come on in, Council Wagner.
As reps. Once this is out of conference and they have a bill structured, we would want to take a close look at that bill and then guide our representatives on their vote.
Sure. But for the most part, it's a formality. Typically goes to consent agenda and moves right through. I mean, this could come off and be voted out, but typically it's done at that point.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we've got a course of action in any case, and we shall
provide
move
you
forward as such.
We'll provide you with we'll get the
Yeah, do that
information
as quick
today,
as you
tomorrow.
can, and then we'll take it from there and get that out to these folks.
Thank you for your time, guys.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Lady, I thought I saw, there she is. Okay. Thanks again. Sean,
Yes,
X2, there you are.
yes.
Sounds like a rocket ship or something.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Aspen is actually the name of it.
Oh, I'd rather be an Aspen.
He'll,
Aspen, Janos wanted a snowboard.
I'm sorry?
Want to kill some of the lights for you guys?
Not all of them, no. People have told us we're in the dark, but we don't have to prove it.
Okay. Well, I want to take a few minutes tonight to give everyone an update as to where we are with the implementation of our new student management system. We've been working on the project since back in January. We first started after the budget process. The project is now getting into really the meat of it, the critical phases of it, so this is a good time for an update. We're progressing forward towards a decommission of our current system, the hybrid of SMS and WinSchool, on the 30th of June. I'm gonna try this clicker here.
Told you, Nate's in the room.
I'll point at Peter, and Peter will do the clicking for me.
Of course, because it worked before.
Related news, the laser.
All right, so there's really two different activities that represent this project, the conversion and the training. And the conversion is the conversion of the data, the movement of all the data we have in SMS and WinSchool into its proper place in X2. And that also includes all the reports we use, progress reports, report cards, discipline reports, bus reports, and so on. The training is actually one of the more complicated pieces, and I've included in the packet some training notes that I went over with Ad Council and also the Tech Committee. We'll go into that in some detail. You can ask any other additional questions you have. Future enhancements I have up here because we're not going to use this implementation as an opportunity to change the world. We're going to convert the stuff that we have. We're going to get it working in the new system. We're going to get up and on our feet, and then we're going to move forward with other modules that are in the system that we want and other changes to core functionality in the system. The initial phase is focused on moving over the data, core demographic data, and then the three functional areas, attendance, grading, and scheduling. Okay, many of you have probably seen this slide before. This describes the conversion process, and this is very typical of any larger scale software implementation. We start with a backup of our current systems, SMS and WinSchool. We move those over to X2. We've been working with the X2 folks to build maps that show how the data moves from their system to our new system. And they're writing the programs based on those maps to move the data. They send the data back to us. We load it into our system. We check it out. We validate it. We go through a bunch of standard reports. How many students are there? How many teachers are there? How many schools are there? Does the transcript look right? And then we look further into details. Tom and I are working on this mainly now, but we'll expand the validation group as we move through the project. We document these issues. We send them back to X2. We work with them to fix the map or fix the program or whatever needs to be fixed. Then we start the process over again. We expect that there'll be 4 iterations of this. That's normal for this sort of implementation. All right, this is a little bit more detail of where we are on the project. And here it's important to note we actually have 2 different databases going on now. The guidance data and this user setup is in a database that is more or less live. The rest of the stuff is in a test database. We'll start with this guidance stuff for now. What we've done already is we've converted all the students in grades 5 through 11. These are the kids that need a schedule for next year. We've converted all the schools, all the teachers, all the rooms, all the courses, and we've done a lot of the cleanup effort that's required here. We've got a master course catalog now where each course has a unique number at the district level, and we've standardized some of the descriptions. We've associated teachers with sections. We've associated rooms with their location in the building, which is important for scheduling at the high school. And we've put limits of the number of students that can attend any particular class or be in any particular room. All of the guidance people have been entering course requests for some time. That's actually complete at the middle school and the high school. A lot of the pre-scheduling work is done, things like PE, lunches, music, that's already done. At both the middle school and the high school, we are ready to hit the button to build the master schedule. This is going to be a learning process the first time around. It was a difficult process in the old system that we had consultants here to help us do. And we're going to have X2 here at the end of the month to help us with that as well. But the point of that is that in terms of implementation, we're on schedule with the guidance stuff, and we're on a normal schedule for when these course schedules would regularly be completed at both high school and the middle school. User setup is done, and this includes all the basic system configuration stuff. This is stuff that can be adjusted along the way, but there is quite a long list of configuration, And that is done in this build database where the guidance data resides. Okay, these last 4 bullets are the information from the previous slide. This is the rest of the data, not the stuff mentioned in that first block that's related to guidance, but the rest of the data that we're sending over, converting, testing, fixing, and iterating through that process. As I said, we expect there'll be 4 rounds of that. The first one's complete. The next one I expect to be complete this Friday in preparation for some training next week. And then we have time for at least 2 more before the scheduled decommission of the current system at the end of June. Now, the truth of the matter is we do have some time after June if we need to do more data cleanup or even if we need to do another conversion before we'll do any more training or we'll do any serious use of the system. So we do have a little bit of time built in the schedule. The other piece of the conversion besides the data that I mentioned is the reports. And X2 has a lot of these now, report cards, progress reports, and such. And they're working on those, but to a large degree, the reports will be converted after all of the data is right. At this point, it doesn't make sense to convert reports because I can't tell if the logic in the report's not right or if the underlying data is not right. So we'll be doing that largely in June and the first part of July. That's about it for the conversion stuff. So we'll go on to training. My objective with training was to provide as many resources for teachers as possible, with the understanding that I'm not going to be able to get every single person in the district in front of a computer with personalized training to develop the kind of expertise that I would like between now and the start of next school year. So I'm going to get as many people trained as possible and provide as many resources as possible. And that means teachers, that means people, but that also means training materials in a couple of different formats. Online, recorded formats if we can, and hard copies of manuals. There's basically, you see here, 4 different groups of people that we're training. System administration training's done. We did that back in February. Tom and I completed that. That includes all the initial setup. The guidance training, and this was one of the nice things about choosing to do the schedule in X2, is we got the guidance training done this year, and we've really developed quite a bit of expertise in this area. Paula Chesney and Laura Lambert at the middle school and Mike and his staff at the high school have done quite a bit of work, participated in quite a bit of training, and really have become very proficient users. So I'm glad that we chose to do the scheduling in X2 this year rather than do it in the old system, convert it, and do that next year. That's one big block of training that's complete. I should mention also, in regard to these first 2, the core project team has been trained on fundamentals at least, in addition to some other functionality. Okay, so this next group is people that are going to be trained starting next week, actually, and these are the people that are going to serve as frontline resources for the teachers in the fall. Administrators, office personnel, library media, computer ed, techs, all of these people beginning next week are going to go through a half-day training on fundamentals, and then the following week there's another half-day training on the rest of the functionality that we're implementing this year, grading, attendance, and enrollment. Later on, at the end of the month, there's going to be a training. It's actually June 24th, I think, is the day after the last day of school now, where we're going to have 2 things going on. I'm going to have a introductory training, if you will, for everybody in the district that we're going to simulcast over Leo 21, I think, and we're going to record. And following that, we've got a number of teachers that we've selected from each of the levels that are going to serve as more resources for the greater population that we're going to give some advanced training to on X2 fundamentals. This group will participate in a 3-hour training that day. Also beginning at the end of May and running right through, I've got October up there, but we'll run this as long as we need to. We'll have some open lab time where people can come in, they can play around with the system, they can have some guided training, they can look at the courses, we can help them set up the grade book. This is going to start at the end of May, beginning of June, and run as long as we need it. I've talked to Nate and Sue and Mark, and we are able to offer professional development credit for this, which hopefully will entice a lot of people to participate. Okay, the last bit of training here is what's going to happen during the workshops, the first 3 days back to school in August for new teachers and returning teachers. And this will include the group, the teacher trainer group that's going to be trained on the 24th as well. They're all going to go through the fundamental training during those days. We've got time blocked out during that schedule where they'll learn to navigate, to log in, to navigate around, to find the demographic info they need, to take attendance. And we'll begin gradebook training at that time as well. Like I said, we're going to have as many materials as we can available. There is quite a bit of material available online. We've got hard copies of manuals, and we're going to record as much of the training as possible and post that on the website where possible and make available on CD as where possible. All right, I mentioned that we're going to go through the implementation in phases. The first phase is just getting up and running and getting on our feet, moving all the data over, all the current data, all the history, and then getting ready for the core functionality of attendance, gradebook, and scheduling. After that, we're going to look at the rest of the options that are available in X2, starting with the parent portal in phase 2. And phase doesn't necessarily correspond to year. Just keep in mind. I've listed in phase 3, I could have listed 100 things here, but a couple of the highlights are the special ed module in X2 and also the professional development stuff. Okay, this is the last slide that I have, and what I wanted to mention here is there are a number of area schools that are using X2 that can serve as resources for us. Most significantly, Nashua. We've been in contact with them quite a few times. We speak with them regularly. They are behind us in terms of implementation, but they are also planning on going live at the beginning of school year next year. So we're going to partner with them as much as possible. Perhaps we can have trainings that are available in each location to offer more opportunities to people. We can bounce ideas off people. And the other thing that we can do is we can gang up on X2. The way that X2 gets a number of requests from users as far as additional functionality they'd like to see. The amount of noise that you make determines how high these things get in the priority list. I'll give you an example. Something that has been in XQ's enhancement queue for a while is the idea of integrating their security with Windows security. So we only have to manage users and groups in a single place. It's been on their list for a little while. It never quite made it to the top. This is something that I personally would like to see, and this is something the people in Nashua would like to see. So we made a lot of noise about this, and it got bumped up in the queue. So we hope to be able to partner with people not only to share some expertise, but also to have some influence on the process. You know, that's about it from 50,000 feet. We are on target to decommission the current system at the end of June. We do have we have a lot of stuff ahead of us. We have a lot of training ahead of us, but we're all looking forward to it. What questions do you have?
Thanks, Sean. Start over there. Ben, you have anything? Ronnie?
Sean, is there a way to have like a demo on the teacher's website where the teachers can get to it, where they can practice with it over the summer or want to play with it, that doesn't have any impact on the data that you have in the system? So if they wanted to sign in and just see what it was like.
Absolutely, we can do that. You know, we haven't released the login information for teachers yet because I want them to participate in some introductory fashion before we do that. But we can definitely make available, and we'll have available for them a test system where they can log in and play around.
Perfect.
And you know, that's sort of the nice situation that we're in now is everything except for the guidance data, which is secure, is a test system because it gets refreshed through the conversion process.
I'm all set.
Steve? Sean? Sean, thank you very much. Good luck. keep us posted, let us know what's going on.
Sure thing.
How'd it go with the, how'd the training with the guidance counselors and the guidance staff go? Because I know that was one of the critical pieces, was giving them the ability to get up and running for scheduling. I mean, are they happy with it, or?
Yeah, absolutely. The guidance piece is, it's one of the strengths of the system. It's one of the things that push a lot of people towards X2, and it is one of the most complicated things that the system does. So all of the high school people participated, the middle school people participated. I think that really went pretty well. We get a lot of positive feedback from them. We did have some open lab time for them afterwards where everybody attended. And, you know, at this point, we're really working with them, Tom and I, directly to finish the master schedule.
Great. Thanks, Sean. Nate, I don't see Mr. Balky, because I know
Right. He's playing daddy this evening. Just information for everyone. On Wednesday, May 28th, at 7 o'clock in this room, will be a second annual forum on prescription medication abuse. The forum has been organized by the school district. Brian has headed it up in reaction to national data regarding the abuse of prescription medication by adolescents, and in the interest of raising community awareness of this dangerous trend, as well as to educate parents in the community regarding risks and consequences. The many aspects of the issue will be discussed from a variety of angles. Participants will include representation from Londonderry High School, the Londonderry Police Department, the Juvenile Justice System, also a child psychiatrist, a pediatrician, adolescent mental health professional, and a licensed drug and alcohol counselor will participate. Again, the date is Wednesday, May 28th at 7 o'clock. Yeah, we encourage people to attend. It will also be broadcast on Leo 21, and the idea is to also tape it so that we'll have a replay, so.
Nate, and actually, Mary or John can probably answer this. When you say Leo 21, is that what we go out on live here? I
Yes.
thought we went, so we do that now? I thought we were
Yes.
going out on 22 and rebroadcasting. I'm behind the times. I'm going to be with Rich pretty soon. Not sure what's going on.
He's 21.
Okay, thanks, Nate.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. And consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion on the consent agenda as printed with the addition of Nancy Connor in the retirements, Scott Hudson, Alan Holly, and Vicky Goody in the resignations.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And before we move the consent agenda, there are a couple of retirements I think we'd like to mention. So, Ron.
Yes. One of the retirements is the custodian that's been working in the district for 12 years at Matthew Thornton. Dave Karam has been a custodian in the district for 12 years. He is also a professional Santa Claus, and at each Christmas time, he was the main attraction at Matthew Thornton's Santa breakfast. He visited the children at Moose Hill accompanied by his reindeer and elves. That elf suit is still around?
Yes, sir.
Dave is also a certified locksmith, and over the years, he has saved the district thousands of dollars repairing locks and door hardware. We will miss Dave and wish him well in his retirement.
Thank you. Good luck, Dave. And John.
Carol Philbin has worked for the Londonderry School District since 1991 as a specialist in the assessment of intellectual functioning and as an associate school psychologist. Ms. Philbin has been an instrumental member of the Londonderry High School Special Education Department. Her thoughtful evaluations and recommendations have guided the educational programming for countless Londonderry students. Ms. Philbin's role is a very specialized one that allows her to incorporate intellectual, academic, and social emotional evaluations into tangible recommendations for classroom teachers. Thank you to Ms. Philbin for her many years of dedicated service, and we wish you all the best in retirement.
Thank you, John.
And that last-minute announcement that Ron made with Nancy Connor, Nancy's of South School, and she has shared her talents and dedication to the district for 20 years now. She began as a readiness teacher and then became a first-grade teacher, looping to second grade at one point. She's an active member of the Garden Steward Committee. For those that don't know, the transformation at South School was pretty amazing, from hot, blistering parking lot to gardens on the south side there. And she participates in the planning, the maintenance, and cleanup of that, and she supports the school's annual carnival. She participates in South School classroom walkthroughs and debriefing sessions. And it's her loss, the school's loss of her, will be another chapter closing with South School. And she's contributed quite a bit to the spirit of the school. I understand she most recently amused the entire school with her rendition of the Mystery Hawk. And since I don't have access to that video, I have no clue how exciting that was. It was, I see. So Nancy, thank you for the 20 years, and South School and the district will miss you.
Thanks, and good luck to all our retirees. And just for the record, our next meeting, regular meeting is June the 3rd. Adult Ed graduation, June the 4th, 6:30 p.m. at Londonderry High School cafeteria. June the 14th, high school graduation, Verizon Center, beginning at 2 p.m. And our next regular meeting after that is June the 17th, here in this room, 7 p.m. I have a motion, I have a second for the consent agenda. All those in favor? Oh, sorry.
If you don't mind a little bit of discussion first?
Sure.
I just want to revisit one item in the minutes on page 4, the discussion of dogs on school grounds. I'm raising this not because I doubt the minutes, but I just want to reaffirm them. The decision was that dogs would not be allowed during school-sponsored events. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
The reason I'm asking is there's been some high-visibility statements saying that dogs were banned from school grounds in general, and I just wanted to correct that, if not in the record, then in the public mind.
Yeah, no, that was the motion, that's what was voted on, so. It is on school grounds during school activities, so.
Thank you.
George?
Yes,
Now that John mentions that,
Yep.
I found it refreshing reading the minutes, because after reading the accounts in the paper, it sounded like all we had done was discuss dogs. And I believe it was at that meeting where we approved the reading program for the middle school,
correct.
which will affect students' lives and their future lives for years to come. And
Excellent
I mean, it's a significant decision that we made to go down a particular path that will impact the children, and that's why we're here. So I just found it refreshing that we did talk about something important. Though dogs are important, it wasn't the only thing that we talked
No,
about.
and you're absolutely right, Ben. The reason that we're here is for things like curriculum and ensuring that we provide the education that our kids deserve. So I appreciate that.
I
Mary, you
suppose it
always do an outstanding job.
I suppose it would be beneath us to note the story in the Derry News the other day talking about the benefits of children reading with their dogs in the public library.
Yeah, okay, we're done. All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving right along.
Do you want to mention the Ed Thibodeau ceremony
Ah,
tomorrow?
yes. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock is the dedication of the Ed Thibodeau Memorial Gardens at the high school, and that is open to the public. So please come on down at 2 p.m., and the garden is right behind the high school before you get to the track. So be there. Thank you. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Okay, moving along then to committee reports. And for, unfortunately, the very last time, Ms. Detweiler.
Well, correction, 24 days till graduation, not 27.
Oh, but we're not counting though, okay.
Yeah, no. Last week, the Student Council attended a statewide meeting of the New Hampshire Association of Student Councils, where we elected new representatives for the state, and we also had a region meeting while we were there, and Londonderry is lucky enough to have one of our own as the president of Region 4, which Londonderry belongs to, and it's Tiffany Gaudette. She has great potential and has helped our organization greatly this year. At the meeting, Londonderry also received many awards. We received every single one that we applied for, including the Advisor of the Year and Administrator of the Year for Ms. Sapson and Mr. Elefante. And we also received the position of an Honor Council, and we received the IOU Community Service Award for the Walk for Epilepsy. And we were very sneaky because Mrs. Sapson and Mr. Elefante, neither of them knew about their awards.
Wait a second. You mean I wasn't supposed to say that either? We're not good at keeping secrets. We're just not.
Just bubbling with pride and enthusiasm.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And the Student Council also participated in Beautified Londonderry, This past Sunday, we went to the South Fire Station and spruced up the outside. And Student Council is hosting a blood drive on May 30th along with the American Red Cross. And CJ can announce our new board members.
All right, well, last night, the Student Council inducted our new board members along with the new class representatives. I myself was inducted because the Student Council just revised their constitution and decided to officially add the representative to the school board as an official position. Previously, it was an honorary position on the board, so now I'm official.
Well, good for you.
In ascending order, the SAVE coordinator, which is our community service project coordinator, is Anna Larson. Our publicist is Myung-Woo Lee. Our membership coordinator is Philip Larry. Our secretary is Kathleen Kennedy. Our vice president is Scott Carpenter. And our new president is Lynn Delagrada.
Great. Thank you. And you go by CJ? Is that?
I guess that's the...
It's up to you.
It switches.
It's fine.
Oh, it switches,
it'll
okay.
stick.
Yes.
It'll stick.
Whatever you feel like calling it.
It's all right. I'm getting older now. I won't remember next week anyway. Thanks very much. Mrs. Slozak.
Thank you. 11 Matthew Thornton fourth graders were recently honored for their participation in the Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission's poster contest. Gage Johnson was the winner of this year's Reduce, Reuse, and Recycle themed contest and was honored in Concord as well. The SNHPC representative Nick Coates was joined by local Planning Commission members Arthur Rugg, Don Moskowitz, and New Hampshire Rep. Sharon Carson as he presented the students with T-shirts and other prizes for their participation. Matthew Thornton fifth grader Madison Hicks was the winner of the state's Arbor Day poster contest, and it's kind of coincidental here because Madison and Gage are cousins, so it's kind of nice. It runs in the family. Kneecap science assessments at grades 4, 8, and 11 have been completed. For fourth grade, this was a very time-consuming assessment at the fourth grade level. Required 2 afternoon sessions of 90 minutes each and a third session that ran just about 2 hours. Kids did a great job, but it was long for them. South School art teacher Marcia Connors would like to invite the school board members and the administrators to the annual student art show at South School on Thursday, May 22nd from 6 to 8 p.m. The annual art show features at least one piece of artwork from each student, special art recognitions, students role-playing as famous artists, and the many sculptures made of wire, wood, model magic, and clay that were created in the art room this year. Everyone is invited to view the wool tapestry that their artist-in-resident Marcy Schepker created with the fourth graders in April, and to meet the artist yourself. Fourth and fifth grade math students participate in the New England Math League contest. The New England Math League contest is a 30-minute math problem-solving contest given to the 3 elementary schools in our district every spring. Awards are given to students who earn the highest score in each classroom and also to the second highest scoring student in each classroom. Special honors are given to the highest scoring in each grade level. And at Matthew Thornton, special recognition is given to the 2 top scoring fourth grade students, Alex Powers and Tim David, and fifth grade students, Ben Stoller and Fred McKay Wright. A Lawyer in Every School Day was celebrated at Matthew Thornton on May 9th. Wyndham attorney Jack McStravick came and spoke to some fourth and fifth grade classes regarding product liability. He explained some legal terms to the students, then he took a real case and changed the names to protect the innocent or guilty, as such the case may be, and explained the case to the students, and the students were able to deliberate the case and come up with their outcome. And they really enjoyed this, and they talked about it for days. Gail Esterly reports that the City Foundation and the National Academy Foundation are pleased to offer the City Academy of Finance Scholars Program. This prestigious program provides recipients with $20,000 in scholarship money, as well as a chance to apply for an internship with City in the summer of their junior year in college. This year, 25 graduating seniors from academies of finance nationwide will be awarded this top honor, and the Citigroup Scholarship is a national award offered to students enrolled in Academy of Finance programs around the country. Tomorrow marks the last early release day of the school year. Time will be spent with grade level, team, and department planning, and analysis of writing samples and assessment scores. Fifth grade teachers will be trained in the district research initiative, and other elementary personnel will receive training at Matthew Thornton in CPR and the use of the defibrillators. And congratulations to Jim and the high school staff. It's nice to see so many of you here, and also to Mr. Greenberg.
Thanks, Pat. And moving along, Ben.
I attended the South School Building Committee meeting on May the 8th. I'm happy to report that the The bids are still coming in at or slightly below budget, and the project is moving along as scheduled and as planned.
Great. Thank you. That's good news. Ron?
I attended a special education meeting last week, and we saw a film. Is it Meeting Samuel?
Yes.
And it was a very, very moving film. And Brian wanted us to see the film there. And it was a film that I guess we're going to show to the faculty, but it's something that we should be showing also to the community. It had to do with special education and students and how he fits into the classroom, and it's not any different. And I think it's an educational type of film for both administration, faculty, and the community to understand the relationship between all three in the picture. It was a very moving film. I thought it was very, very well done.
Thanks, Ron. I mean, is that something that we can run on
It's
Leo
almost,
21?
and we may be able to run it on Leo
I don't know if
21.
there's
It's almost-
copyright or things like that, but
I'll check.
Check it.
and
It's
it may
an
be
hour long,
worthwhile.
I believe.
What do you think?
I think someone passing through would stop and watch it. Yeah.
I think that's the exact question I asked. And they're checking for the copyright issues to see if it would be okay for us to display that.
Might be interested in recording an opening and a closing by a school district person to explain the context.
Be a good idea.
Yeah, that's probably a very good idea.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we'll look into all that. You through?
Yes, sir.
Steve?
Yeah, I think that would bring it into the community that it was great to have a movie day. Reminded me of school when the teachers didn't want to work and they plugged a beta cassette in. But
Oh,
the
come on, we had 16 millimeter.
But the film strips, yeah, film strips. The
There's enough talking old. Let's go.
but the I believe after watching it that the major tool that this could be used for is to help the community to understand our special needs students. I think it's difficult for those of us that have regular ed students and don't see it every day to understand what the school provides and why it provides it. And I'm not going to talk about it. I just hope that we can present this on the air because it would give the citizens of Londonderry an understanding on why we spend the money we do on these children. As the unofficial liaison to the band, I just wanted everybody to know that in exactly 1 month, there'll be wheels up on 3 aircraft heading halfway around the world. And right now it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, so 1 month from today, they'll be having breakfast over in China. Thank you.
Good for them.
Communications Committee met and discussed a questionnaire that they want to distribute to staff members to identify the most effective vehicles for delivering information about district policies, operations, and information such as that.
All right, thanks, John. And I was able to attend the Matthew Thornton PTA meeting, and I think it was, did I miss the ice cream? I think I missed the ice cream. Today, right? Yeah. I was there for the cookies, but today was ice cream day, wasn't it? I don't know. Well, Dan Beaver always said the cookies at Matthew Thornton and Moose Hill were the best, so that's where I'm sticking. I think the one thing that sticks in my mind is that that school had 100% participation in their reading. So that's what the ice cream celebration was all about, and I think that's just great. So Vicky and everybody else over there is just doing an outstanding job, Carol, so thank you very, very much. And with that, we will move along to curriculum. Yes?
Could I ask a favor?
You can.
If we can just reconfigure, if we could do foreign language, which is item 6.2 first.
Yes.
And then also jump to, after that, go to item 7.1, the senior class trip. We've got members of the high school faculty here, one of which is pregnant, so I'd like her to get her home so she could.
Just get around.
She works
She
at the
could
high
get
school
her
and not-
rest. Yes,
Wait, she works at the high school and not at the middle school?
that's right.
Wow, that's a surprise.
things like that.
Well, too late, I already did. Yes, Nate, you did remind me of that earlier. I may be going loony, but I did remember.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if we can have the foreign language folks come, I'm sorry, Mark, you're
I'll
already
do
here.
introductions. How's that, George?
Hola.
I'd like to introduce Kim Lindley-Susi, Ann Kalachi, and Susan Trammell. Come on up, Susan Trammell. They're going to present this evening to you an overview of foreign language at both the middle school and the high school this evening, as well as some of the future directions. Both departments at both schools over the last several months have been meeting regularly together, and we'll discuss their program and presentations this evening. Susan.
Would it be appropriate at this time for the foreign language staff who's present to introduce themselves?
Yes.
Is that all right?
Please.
Mrs. Doobie, can I ask you to commence just your name, your school, and what you teach?
Unfortunately, you got to walk back there with that or have them come forward so that folks at home can hear you.
I feel like I'm on a game show.
Conchetta Doobie, and I teach Spanish at the high school. Christine Dutton, high school Spanish.
Kristen Halpern, high school Spanish.
Rodrigo Rosa, high school Spanish.
Flora Sapson, Latin at the high school.
Heather Cordimash, middle school French. Claudia Bailey, middle school Spanish.
Jill Gendron, middle school Spanish.
Heather Bouchard, middle school French and Spanish.
Paula Bartlett, high school Spanish.
Roberta Terwilliger, high school Spanish.
Tom Wilson, also high school Spanish.
Okay, so I would like to say salute, bienvenue, bienvenidos, and willkommen. We were asked to do a presentation on the foreign language curriculum for the curriculum committee, and thus you are the recipient of this overview to show you the scope and sequence of what we do with world languages grades 6 through 12. So we will commence with our philosophy about meeting the needs of all the students in our school district. When children enter the middle school, sometimes it's at an awkward time. They've moved into the district at a different time. They are surveyed and tested and placed according to their ability. Our program commences with exploring languages at grade 6. However, sometimes movement does occur within the district, and so we have to make adjustments as these students feed into our schools. New students at the high school are evaluated as well and are placed according to their skill levels. Foreign language recommendations, of course, are made on an individual basis, whether it's simply selecting a course for next year or assisting a student who has moved in from a different school district. Everybody's purpose or reasons for studying a foreign language is different. I suppose we could make a list, but we just need to know that everybody takes foreign language for different reasons. We commence with exploring languages, grade 6. All the students there get to have an exposure to grades, to a few weeks of French and Spanish. This assists them in getting a feel for foreign languages as well as for making a selection for the following year. This leads to them signing up on their scheduling cards for Spanish 7 and French 7 with a follow-up year of Spanish 8 and French 8. At that time, students can make a decision to continue with that foreign language when they enter the high school. Students can jump at that time into level 2, and in addition, beginning Latin or beginning German is available to anyone. The spring of the 8th grade is when all these recommendations take place. Mostly it falls onto the place of the foreign language teacher that currently has the child in recommending placement. Approximately 75 to 85% of our students in grade 8, that's French and Spanish, enter 9th grade jumping into level 2 Spanish or French as freshmen. The remaining 15 to 25% enter level 1 or start study of another language at that time. Students who at grade 8 have no language experience enroll in a beginning language. Some of this comes from recommendations from the reading teacher, from the guidance counselor, from consultation with the foreign language staff at the middle school. Students interested in languages are sometimes selecting a second language when they enter grade 9 at the high school. While graphs are not my forte, we're using this one here to show you about the 4 language skills that are used: listening, speaking, reading, writing, and of course the addition of culture. All right, you will notice that grades 7 and 8 are equal to the level 1 reinforcement of speaking and listening, reading and writing and culture, whereas there's some slight changes entering level 2. That would be for the freshmen in Spanish and French, or could be any grade for high school students in German and Latin. And then likewise some slight adjustments in those skills, mostly in the listening and speaking skills in level 3. If we move on to what we call the 4th year, but really refers to grammar and conversation, or a level 4 honors class, and AP in the or we used to be called the 5th year of language study. Okay, you will notice that there's a greater shift of the skills, and that a lot more burden of the work occurs for the students, with listening and speaking skills being specifically the goal of the course of the grammar and conversation. Grammar and conversation came into place in our program of studies about 4 years ago. Students who are in level 4 honors are in preparation for taking the advanced placement year as seniors. The American Council for Teaching of Foreign Languages does have a program by which you can assess the optimal abilities of a student of a foreign language. And students who score a 4 on an advanced placement exam could be at more than the intermediate high level. This really amounts to fewer than 30 students, so you need to know that while intermediate doesn't sound very advanced, that it requires quite a large amount of time and practice in order to further your language skills. We use this as a guide in our program of studies. Once again, French 7 and 8 is being equal to level 1 in French and Spanish, with students having the ability to jump in at level 2 as freshmen, take level 3 Spanish or French, and then make a choice during the 4th level. Once again, recommendations come from teachers, from guidance counselors, and from parents, of course, as to whether or not students choose the honors class in the 4th year or the conversation and grammar courses. And once again, German or Latin can be inserted at any point during the 4 high school years. L2, or what we call the new language, is learned the same way that we learn language 1. So if you can think back to when your children learned, okay, we have a lot of mimicking of the language process, just as an infant would learn its mother tongue. Passive comprehension always will outpace the ability to use or produce language. My typical example is to say that, you know, your 2-year-old is going around saying cookie, 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 cookie. They're not saying, I want a cookie. Now, please give me a cookie. But the intent is there to convey that whole thing, whereas they're only articulating one word. So we say the passive comprehension is within each child, and sometimes we don't see the full ability of their expression. Best practice, of course, for all our foreign language classes requires that we enhance all 4 of the language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing at all levels. The placement of students in French has experienced much success. It's a smaller population for those of you who realize that Spanish has become a very popular language in our area. German and Latin blend students who have had previous language study with those who have had no language study. So there's a meshing there that doesn't exactly appear in French and in Spanish. Placement of students in Spanish addresses a much larger population, and this results in greater diversity in the ability of the students and in the needs that they have in the Spanish program. Londonderry High School has always addressed the needs of these students. Sometimes we have incorporated independent studies for students with scheduling conflicts. Sometimes we have permitted juniors to take an advanced placement course, able to advance them along in their language study when there is such a scheduling conflict. Latin and German, smaller enrollment, has the ability to flip-flop the 3rd and 4th year. Both of those years are referred to as advanced classes, and in order to do right by the student, enabling them to get either 3 or 4 years of language study in both of those languages. The middle school is helpful to us because we have moved students across the building, if you would allow me to call it that, through the program with much success and individual evaluation along the way. As I've already mentioned, about 4 years ago, we incorporated a split in our fourth-year program, what we call dual levels. You make a choice, either advanced French and Spanish or a French and Spanish grammar and conversation course. Obviously, conversation courses are based on the student's ability to improve their speaking skills, whereas the others are lead-up preparation for the advanced placement. We've also adopted 3 years ago the AP program with some significant success in both French and Spanish. We have experimented with the implementation of a career and conversation course. Some of you will recall historically we tried to have an addition of 1 credit for graduation in foreign language. So at that time, we tried to have a different course on our venue for those students who normally would not be taking foreign language. This is just a sample of Spanish 4 grade distribution, okay? You will notice that the darker blue color is representative of the students in the conversation classes, whereas the yellow, if I can call it that, represents the advanced Spanish class, or what we sometimes refer to as honors, okay? And the grades are listed on the side. So we are experiencing what we call significant success with the students who are making choices to take either the honors or the conversation track. We have talked in the past about literacy. Obviously, this plays out in the foreign language classroom. One of the 4 skills is reading. We are able to use our reading specialists, bring them into the classroom and help them prepare our students, because reading, especially literature at the advanced levels, becomes part of our district-wide literacy improvement program. We reinforce the exact same strategies that the other classroom teachers are utilizing, and we're reinforcing the concept that students are reading to learn, and in this case learning Spanish, French, German, and Latin, as opposed to simply learning to read. We've had some very noteworthy achievements for students in Latin taking the National Latin exam. We have recently added the Richelieu Club Oratorical Contest this year, as well as taking the Grand Concours test in French. We've had students being successful in advanced placement testing. Just recently, as we do every spring, we induct students with 3+ semesters of study in a foreign language at the high school level into our foreign language honor societies. And through the feedback that we receive from our students who go on to college, many of the students from Londonderry High School are receiving awards and acknowledgement at the college level. The good news is that grades 6 through 12 are pretty cohesive, and in the process of putting all these things together, we were able to take a look at where we're headed as a department. We would like to incorporate, with the board's approval, an implementation of a tiered program in Spanish. What we have noticed, if you recall one of the initial slides, it said 75 to 85% of the students leaving grade 8 Spanish jump into level 2. And this has had, because of the large population, met with a large number of students with varied success. So our thinking at this time is that for 2009, that's a year from this fall, we'd like to introduce a level 2A Spanish and a level 2B Spanish. Once again, we'd still be functioning on the recommendations of the language teacher at the middle school in conjunction with their guidance counselors and their parents in making those choices. 2010 would then bring an additional tiered program. For those students who had done 2A and 2B, they'd be jumping into a 3A or 3B, obviously A being accelerated. And at that time, we'd like to also introduce a level 1A, an accelerated program for students who have chosen a language, Spanish in this case, as an additional language, and level 1B being students who have had absolutely no previous language experience. At this time, it's our goal, as always, to continue to communicate to the school community, parents, students, etc., that these options are there available to them to select the one that is most appropriate for their child. This can be done via the middle school and the recommendation chats that the teachers have there, or the guidance chats, as well as with the scheduling cards that start in the 6th grade. The information can be given to them that there is a new tiered program in place if we choose to go forward with that. We can, in addition, at an information night, explain the tiered program for students who will be going on in Spanish. We can communicate this information as well through the usual channels of newsletters and through guidance staff, as well as the school district website. So, hasta luego, ciao, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir. You did receive in your packets an additional piece of information. Those are the criteria that the foreign language staff have put together should we implement the new tiered program to help our students guide and choose a correct placement in Spanish.
Thank you. And questions or comments from the board? John?
Just one question, if I may. I think most colleges require foreign language proficiency in order for to obtain a liberal arts degree. Is that correct?
I don't know if I would use the word proficiency.
Okay, some level.
They
of-
like fluency, proficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually the message that's been sent back to us, they want a certain number of your high school years, but that's hard to equate into proficiency. If you remember the slide where I talked about we could actually test students out. Most of our students would still be in that intermediate range. Proficient insinuates to language people fluency.
Yeah.
Native speaker or near native speaker. And that would not be something that I would say we accomplish at the high school level, simply because we're only immersing students 45 minutes a day, 5 times a week, in a good week.
I guess the question was also going toward when a student comes out of Londonderry High School, having finished 3 years of foreign language.
Yep.
Do they typically meet a college's graduation requirement, or do they have to?
Some of them do. Some of them will have to take tests when they get to the actual college. And every institution is different, so it's hard to have a hard and fast rule. Some of them will say you've had so and so many years. Mr. Greenberg, you want to jump in?
Yeah, several years back, we did we engaged in some conversations with colleges in the state university system, because the state had passed the new minimum standards, and we thought that we would be able to provide kids with the year of foreign language at the middle school, 2 years at the high school, and that would qualify the kids for their 3-year sequence when they apply for a college. The fly in the ointment was that at the time, State Board had not carried on any conversation with the university system regarding that concept. So the way a large number of colleges look at it is the number of years you've taken foreign language at the high school, not total number of years.
Right.
So in essence, by having the program set up the way we did, youngsters have to complete foreign language 4, whether it's French or Spanish,
Absolutely.
to meet the college requirements.
Right.
And in looking at that, what our foreign language department is proposing here and is looking at is adjusting the program so that those youngsters who are very good in foreign language and want to go through AP or take multiple languages will have that opportunity. Other youngsters who need the 3 years at the high school for application to a number of other colleges can, if they so desire, and they may be great in math but not that terrific in Spanish, will have an opportunity to, in fact, get those 3 years in and do that in a fine fashion. So I think what we're trying to do is provide multiple levels of opportunities for students to meet the requirements for going on to college, and offer those youngsters that want to excel multiple opportunities, because our kids can, in fact, go through AP and take a second language, and if they want, get 3 years or 4 years out of that, or they could spend their life with Flora doing Latin. So I think the proposal that the Foreign Language Department has come up with in working with Mark, I think is one that addresses a number of areas, because we've had a number of issues over the years. The board has had some concerns about it. And I think going in this direction, we're going to provide an opportunity for a whole spectrum of students to meet those requirements and meet them in an appropriate fashion, get the appropriate skills that they need, and not be placed in a situation. Your own experience sometimes is the worst. I was not that good in foreign language. I was better in some other areas. And if I had had a tiered approach to foreign language, my high school GPA might have been a little bit, well, that's debatable, might have been a little bit higher than it was going into school. So I think what we're trying to do is offer multiple opportunities for students.
Absolutely. And if I could just say, Mr. Robinson,
John.
the child who starts in 6th grade, John, could feasibly have 7 years of Spanish or French, which sounds amazing, but that might not equal another school in the state. And I've always been proud of Londonderry because we offer foreign language every day to children, not 2 times a week, not on alternate Thursdays when, you know, and some of the middle school programs in the state are kind of weaker than ours. So while I kind of wish that the State Department had orchestrated a plan, put a plan in place so the children at the middle school could get that 1 year credit, I can understand that they're hesitant to commit where every middle school does something different. The good news is that a lot of the children benefit from the less hectic pace of the middle school program and come into our level 2 programs and are very strong and are very successful, whether they stop at the 4th level or do AP. So I think we're doing okay. It's just been hard to meet. And the other reason we've selected this tiered thing is because a lot of the other Class L schools, similar size, are offering what they call, we're using tiered here, but what they call level foreign language classrooms.
So, just to put the bow on the question, is it reasonable then to think that a student who really avails himself of the opportunity in the high school could get to college and not have to take additional foreign language classes to
Absolutely.
graduate college?
Absolutely.
That's
As
a
a
cost
matter of
saving
fact,
right there.
we've had some students come back and complain because they wanted to go back to scratch, just to get an easy college class and some credits. And they're not being allowed to do that because their skills are too far along.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, John. Steve?
Yeah, I appreciate the approach you're taking here on this. I think it goes a long way in meeting some of the concerns that the board has raised in the past. All these classes, when they come up to the transcripts, are treated the same way on the transcript? Is there any difference in the transcript if you take a level Alpha or a level Bravo?
That, the same number of credits, but are you talking honors
On-
designate? I'm not
no,
sure what your question is.
There are
asking.
courses on the transcript that we say are non-college and college. Are we treating all the language arts courses as college courses, no matter what
They're all
level they are?
college
Yes.
courses.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The only difference, Ron, would be just like we have, you get a weight, if you're taking an honors course, you get, it's weighted for honors, but
That-
otherwise, it's considered a college course, absolutely.
Okay. And the other thing, just to make the public aware of it, which came up in the C3 meeting, is the fact is that parents at the 9th grade level, even if their children have taken the course in the middle school of Spanish 1, they can repeat it again at the high school level in 9th grade. That is an option that is available to the parents and the students. So they would only have to go through 3 years of a language at the high school and not hit Spanish or French 4.
Absolutely, but we're, as with we explained with the tier program, we're hoping that they won't be meshing with students who are fresh to a language that would put them, you know.
Thanks, Ron. Ben?
Are we taking some action on this?
Yeah, we're gonna need to, okay it.
I feel uncomfortable in this position, but my recollection of the board's concern was always that we would have students go through the program and not have, I don't want to say mastery, that's probably the wrong word, but not even fundamental capabilities in the language. And my first impression on looking at this is that and this is just my impression, I'm not saying this is what's happening, but it's like we're throwing in the towel rather than requiring our students to meet a certain level of expectation or rigor in the program. We've decided to tier the program and create different expectations in order to push the kids out.
I don't
It's-
think it's about pushing the children out, but the foreign language classroom has always been heterogeneous. Okay, so you're meshing students with all levels. And foreign language is not the top 4. If you forgive me, I'm not being critical in saying that, but it's not the top 4, so it's the 5th thing. And for some of our 9th graders in particular, when they enter the system and they have to do Spanish 2 or French 2, they've got all those heavy-duty high school classes plus foreign language, and some of them are not, forgive the expression, wired for foreign language. They can do it, but not with the same intensity as algebra and earth science and whatever else. Same thing holds true for sophomores.
Ben, I think in response to your question, because you raised a good issue, I think what we're trying to do with the foreign language program is to apply the same philosophical position to foreign language that we've done with math or with science, so that, for instance, you've got honors math courses and regular college-bound math courses, and I think that's exactly the approach that we're trying to take. So it's not a case of watering it down. It's a case of where some of the emphasis might be. So, for instance, with the, let's say, 1B, there would be more of a continuing emphasis, if I understood correctly, and please, on conversation as opposed to the grammar, and moving to the grammar a little bit later, because those kids were the ones that still had difficulty in the conversation part, and then moved to the grammar part a little bit later, where there if I understood the charts in our conversation, there tends to be there would be a more rapid movement in the 2A, for lack of a better term, to the grammar part, and while the other one would still be more of an emphasis on the conversation. So the philosophical focus for the foreign language would be very similar to the same philosophical focus that we have with math, for instance. That's the easiest one for me to look at. And not, in a sense, of watering it down, in a sense, just providing some kids with a little bit more time and a slightly different focus on instruction so that they can benefit more, so that rather than being in a heterogeneous, fast-moving French 2 or Spanish 2, where sometimes the kids that are a little bit weaker have more difficulty staying up, this is more better paced, and I think in the long term, they will come out better in the long run because they will have had more time to reflect on, study, and practice the conversation part as opposed to being in the other one. Is that a fair
That's a very
fair
good way
assessment?
to explain it. Plus, it will better suit their long-range goals. For instance, some of us just want foreign language for travel. Some of us want foreign language to enhance our understanding of sports. Some of us want to be able to read an epic work in a foreign language. And those goals kind of go along with the tier program that we're trying to insinuate here, that the learning thing would be the same. It's like calculus. I would be malplaced in calculus. And yet another math class would be more appropriate for me.
I understand, and if the analogy holds, you don't have an A in calculus, you have an A in some other math class.
Exactly.
Here, we're offering an A in French, albeit level 2A or level 2B, but it's still considered and accepted at a college level as being an A in French.
Yes, all the foreign language.
But, I mean, they seem to me to be vastly different programs. If a student is having difficulty in a French class or a Spanish class, it seems to me we probably offer extra help after class. You know, there's other ways that we can make up providing additional time to that student so they can excel. But at the end of the day, and again, maybe it's just my personal bias, but it appears to me that we're taking C's in the current level class and we're converting them to A's in a less rigorous class that is still going to be accepted at a college level as having completed classwork at that level.
I'm not sure that we would be guaranteeing that they would get A's in the other class. I think what we're doing is providing them with a learning environment that's more appropriate to their own skills and emotional learning abilities. They might come out with a B rather than the C or the D. I think that, I can understand your concern, but I think it's best suited for our students. And we do have a dividing line later on when a modicum of proficiency has been achieved, when they get to the AP classes, when they get to the honors classes in German and Latin, that there is a different annotation on the transcript, and it becomes a weighted grade.
And to Mr. Greenberg's point, when we're providing that tiered program, what we are doing is providing those students that additional support they might need so that that student could still ultimately take that level 4 honors and still go off and receive that credit at the collegiate level, to Mr. Robinson's point. But we're giving them developmentally, perhaps they're not ready as a 9th grader to jump into that difficult level 2. We are now providing some scaffolding for that student to give them that strong background in the foreign language, so that should they choose to go on to that 4 honors course, which is heavy on the literature, they now have that strong background moving through.
Right. You could actually leave a 1B and end up in the honors course by the time you hit level 4.
I think that does equate then to the math program that Nate spoke of before, where we try to give as much success earlier on in the knowledge acquisition so that the child is more confident to then be successful and choose to continue on.
Well, I'm just one of 4. I just don't, on the face of it, it doesn't sound right, but that's just me.
Thanks, Ben. Anybody else? Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the foreign language proposed changes.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Me.
And can I make a suggestion too? Because I know Ben has raised some real good issues. We'd be more than happy to come back in the fall with a more fleshed out program to address some of the issues, so that, see if we can get Ben to feel more comfortable as we go through it, since we'd be looking.
It seems to me like we would already be offering help to those students that are not excelling in the classes.
But not all those students have the opportunity to come to receive help in foreign language. You have to remember, they're going for math maybe, or maybe they're going for history help. When you get to the high school level, we're talking several students who have 7 classes.
But it seems to me,
They're spreading themselves thin.
again, it's a philosophical approach. At some point, you have a set of requirements, and you have the expectation that people are going to step up and meet those requirements. And you assist them to meet those requirements, providing them what other help what other help you can provide. But this approach appears to me that we're saying, here are requirements, and now we're going to create another set of requirements, and let's let you meet those, and those requirements are lower than the ones we had before.
Ben,
That's the impression.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at it the other way. What if you went into, let's say, French 2 going in? There, unlike math, where we have an opportunity to offer several levels, we didn't offer multiple levels. So this way, you're providing kids who may not be as strong in foreign language an opportunity to gain additional skills. No different than, and not saying that the bottom has fallen out, that's certainly not the case, but looking at it in a slightly different way. No different than when we have, let's say, an honors algebra class versus a regular algebra class. And what we're trying to do, I think, at this point, is expand the options for foreign language to give more kids an opportunity for success, and not, in a sense, watering it down, but expanding options. Because up till now, it was either French 1 or French 2 or French 1 or French 2. We didn't offer the same options that we offered in some of the other academic areas.
Yeah, I don't know the correct analogy, and to me, for foreign language, it would appear to be mastery of the language, but in calculus, you can either integrate a function or you can't. There's nothing in between. You can do it or you can't do it. And it would seem to me with foreign language if we're going to have this requirement, and it's going to be a requirement for graduation. You're either able to meet some level of proficiency or you're not.
Well, we took away the credit for graduation. That disappeared. But if I could liken it to learning in English in the reading groups that I used to experience in the first grade, there were the bluebirds and, and the teacher asked so-and-so, and this child said yes, and this one said 2 words, and this one said, well, that's because the bird has a red this and has that on the head, and you got the whole 9 yards. Language development is just that, development. It's a developmental thing. And we already have all that come for extra help in place now. And we're not sure that it's giving the students what they need and deserve. So this is, in our philosophy, a way to address every child that comes through the foreign language classroom's door.
And I understand that philosophy. I just have a philosophical difference with that. We're meeting a requirement to go on to college, and we are creating a different expectation in order to meet that requirement.
John, you had
Maybe
something?
I am missing something here, but I'm not really clear why we're not focusing on this as creating a higher level program for higher level achievers rather than a second tier program for mainstream students.
Absolutely. We kind of ended up doing this backwards when we adopted the advanced placement program. We went and we did the dual program in 4 because we knew we needed that as a prep for going to advanced placement. So now it kind of seems we're going back down the ladder, but nonetheless, you are correct. It is a pathway to a direction that could end up in the advanced placement year.
Okay.
Thanks, John. Ron?
I guess when I look, I understand what you're saying, Ben, but right now, colleges have a requirement of 3 years of the language, okay? There's only one way to get there. You go 1, 2, and 3. As opposed, it's not calculus, but I have Algebra 2. I have several different alternatives in the other programs to get 3 years or 4 years of a math or science. And we look at it, I'm looking at it that way, and I have to agree with John. The fact is that it probably is going to turn out to be an honors course on the upper level and a normal course on here, and that's probably where I expect it to turn out. But I think there's alternatives in all the other subjects to get to that goal of a sequence. In foreign language, there is not. You're forced to go into it, and that was the grammar and conversation. Conversation is one of the alternatives that you didn't have to go into a class that was very heavily in the writing portion of it.
And we did even do it with calculus this past year. We have now 2 levels in calculus, so college prep level and then 2 levels.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And again, we're going to jump to 7.1 for a moment. So the 2009 senior class trip, if we can have the advisors come
Right.
up.
Mary Johnson and Crystal Rich, who are our class 2009 advisors, along with Mr. Parent,
105.
the heir apparent.
I have an updated sheet.
Okay.
I don't know if you had it.
No, well,
Yes, they do.
ours isn't green. Thank you all. Good evening. Thanks.
As Nate mentioned, Mary Johnson and Crystal Rich are the advisors for the class of 2009, and they are here this evening to present to the board a senior class trip proposal.
For the past, 4 years that I've been in the district and 6 years that Mary's been in the district, the senior class trip has been to Six Flags, New England in Massachusetts. This year, 71 students out of 456 are attending the senior class trip, which is less than 15% of the class. The interest from it has dropped significantly. It's very repetitive. And so we have sort of taken it upon ourselves to find something that's different, more exciting, that we think the kids will be interested about and want to talk about. for years to come and hopefully have great memories of, and hopefully will interest 200 or 300 of these kids instead of only 71 of them. And this year's senior class is a very outgoing class. They love to do things together. They're always at every senior activity, every activity for the school. So it's very frustrating as an advisor to see only 71% participating in such a great activity, or what should be a great activity. So this is kind of a big proposal, so we're just kind of asking you to bear with us over the next couple of minutes so that we can get all the details for
Gotta
you.
move again. It's the most exercise I've gotten in a week and a half.
This is what our trip is inspired from. This past summer.
Deliverance?
Huh? Yeah. This past summer, as you can see, all of these are high school teachers, except for Mrs. Heather Quartermash, who is a spouse of one of our teachers. We went on a whitewater rafting trip this summer, which we had an absolute blast on. And we stayed over for a camping trip, and it was sort of a weekend event for us. But as Mary and I were coming back from the trip, we thought, what a cool thing to take the kids on. And we had been working on this since last September, or last August, since we came back. And we've hopefully covered every detail. We've met with Jason and superintendent and our current principal, Mr. Elefante, and proposed it to them. But we're really looking for something that's going to integrate the kids together, all of them together, not just some of them, not just 71 of them. And we think that this, although very large, would be a really great, fun thing for them to do. The only people in the school who do know about this are our class officers, who have kept it under wraps, Mr. Parent and Mr. Elefante. Some kids have slipped out a little bit, but other than that, it's not a school-wide, not many people know about it.
Although now it might be.
Now it might, now it will be. But hopefully it's, now that the school board knows. But hopefully we've kept
we be
it
humming or
quiet until now.
We're good at not keeping secrets.
So we've heard.
That's it. We'll take them all to a Fisher Cats game.
I've been in touch with Judy from Reservations, as you can see up there. We have been, gosh, up and down every question that you can possibly imagine. I think that, as Crystal has said, our biggest concern was, as advisors, providing for students an opportunity that they wanted to be a part of. This is their senior trip, and it's really important that they look at it as an experience that they will remember. And it's funny, as Crystal and I walked in, we looked at Chris and we thought, I wonder if he even knows anything about this right now, sitting up there. And I think one of the questions that recently came up was, what happens if, we're looking at this statistic of the Six Flags trip, 71 students out of such a huge number. What if kids don't want to go whitewater rafting? And we're looking at the same percentage. And I think for us, we looked at our class reps, which we have about 30 students that regularly attend our meetings once a month. The consensus when it came up as an opportunity for them to say, hey, this is what we want to do. Things like the Red Sox were thrown out, things like going up and spending the day at a beach, or doing things like that. Of course, overnight trips were always what they wanted to do, and we squashed that from the very start, because it's not something that we want to take on as a responsibility either. But when whitewater rafting came up, it was amazing, the overwhelming response. And I think that a lot of the students said that would be an amazing opportunity. I just don't think we can do it. And for us, it was, well, if they want to do this, we're advisors and we're going to speak for them. We're going to step up to the plate and hopefully be able to push for an amazing opportunity for them. And that's why we're here tonight, because this, from our consensus, this is what the kids want to do. They want something different. They want something memorable. And Judy's been an amazing resource for us in accommodating so many different things, everything from our questions to, if you look to the second page of the paper that you have, really working with us to work on the time frame so that we aren't working on an overnight trip. And I think Crystal and I both share some very similar experiences from when we were seniors in high school, that we both went on trips that were leaving at about 4 a.m. in the morning. And I think it's not so much the concern of what time it was the experience and how cool and how exciting it was to be able to be with your friends and the people that you'd spent the last 12 years with, and take a trip on a bus and do something amazing and come back and reflect upon it. And half the fun in that 4.5-hour trip, I know many of us wouldn't like to spend that much time on a coach bus, but for them, that's the experience. That's what's fun about it. And so for us, the concern about the time frame wasn't, it wasn't something for us to worry about. It was a matter of making sure that we could get the time to work out so we weren't leaving at 3 o'clock in the morning, but we're working with them to accommodate us to get there around 8:30, 8:45, and hopefully we'll be looking at 3/4 of our senior class attending this event rather than just 15% of the student body that will be going.
So Three Rivers is a company in West Forks, Maine. They are on the Kennebunk River, and they work with other companies that are around there. When we went up this summer, we rafted with Three Rivers, but we were not the only company on the river. Every company has different lifeboats. Each lifeboat has a guide, an experienced guide who's certified. There are 5 to 10 people on each boat. You can make it the most exciting trip of your life, or you can float down the river. If you don't want to do, we are kind of go-getter kind of people. This summer we're going back, and some of them are jumping out of planes. So you can make the trip what you want it to be. If you want to go there, if we have kids who want to go there and just want to swim, they can just swim. If we have kids who want to go and just want to hang out near the barbecue and play horseshoes and spend the day in the sun, they can spend the day in the sun or in the field being supervised by whomever we have for chaperones. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be this outdoorsy kind of person who only wants to do a Class 5 rapid or only can do a Class 4. I know, but I'm saying we're going on to Class 4, but it can be as extreme as you want it to be or as docile as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be one or the other. We can accommodate special ed students. We can accommodate any sort of issue that there may be that you can come up with. We will have an answer for you. I think that the biggest thing is that, with Jason and Jim, they said to us, well, are you going to have a chaperone on each boat? And we said, no, we don't need to, because there's an experienced guide on each boat. And we had a fabulous guide when we went, and she could put us in the toughest situation or put us in the smoothest part of the river and sail us down.
And to be honest, no chaperone would know nearly what a guide would know. So when we went this summer, we were just as much, I guess you could say, quote unquote, rookies as our students would be next summer. And none of us, maybe one person on the boat had done it before, and the instructors were very, very vocal and very, workable with us. And I felt very much like a student embarking on my first opportunity with this, and I never once was concerned about what I was doing, whether I was doing something right or whether I was doing something wrong, because of the guide that we had with us. And like Crystal said, every boat would be specifically guided and chaperoned by a guide. Obviously, some of those boats would have an additional chaperone on it, but I think it's gonna fall to what kinds of students we might have on those boats, or just as the cards may fall, we might have an extra chaperone on that boat just to be going down the river, and we hope that they'll all be able to participate as well in the experience.
The other thing is that we plan on bringing one chaperone for every 20 students that we bring. We have a deal with them that for every so many students that sign up, we get a free person to come with us. So all of those free passes will go towards the chaperones, and whatever cost is on top of that, we will take care of. The students will pay $50 to go. That will include their rafting, their wetsuits, their helmets, their barbecue at the end of the day. They get to see a DVD of their whole trip and pictures. and snacks on the way up. And Mary and I have done an enormous amount of fundraising over the last 3 years, and because we knew the cost of this would be higher than what a normal trip to Six Flags would be. And so we have fundraised enough money to cover the buses that will take the kids to and from. So they won't be covering any cost of buses. So the original cost of the Six Flag trip over the past couple of years has been, on average, $35. So it will be $15 more for them to go rafting for the whole day.
And at this point, in the planning stages, we'd like to look to have a meeting with parents and students in sometime in October of 2008, and we will have representatives from Three Rivers coming down from Maine to join us for this meeting. They will give a detailed presentation, I'm assuming including any sort of information that they would like to provide to parents, just in the normal stream of things, as well as a PowerPoint and any paperwork. And our big concern, I know that this is going to be something that's very different from what has been done in the past. Seniors were signing up for Six Flags just about a month ago. We ideally would like to know come the end of the first semester, sometime in January, exactly how many students were going. We would like to have permission forms, all of the paperwork, release forms, all of that signed off and ready to go, including hopefully payments by that point, so that we're not scrambling and, end of April, beginning of May to take care of all of that. So at this point, that's what we would like to hopefully accomplish come this fall.
And just one other thing, we have spoken with Peter. Peter has checked for us on our insurance policy, and the trip would be covered, completely covered. We won't need another rider or anything else. All students and chaperones would be taken care of, should anything happen. Which it won't.
Which it won't. Thank you
That
for
it?
having us today.
Okay,
Do you have any
thank you. Any questions or comments? Steve?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for coming so far ahead of time. I think that was wise of you. I also think that I like your decision to avoid, although this is an aggressive trip, I like your decision to avoid an overnight trip. I think that's going to save you a lot of situations that you won't have to deal with. Plus, since it's going to be pretty active, everybody's going to be pretty tired on the way home.
It'll be a nice quiet ride.
Probably.
Yeah, the you indicated one chaperone for every 20 students. And I think that may fall outside of policies that we've implemented.
Well, I think what we can do, because I wasn't concerned about that as much because of the fact that with the number of kids on a boat, there would be a guide, if you want to call it that, on each of the boats. So,
How many seats on the bus?
45.
So you'd have 2 chaperones on each
yeah.
bus.
At least. Yeah, at least.
If I recall, that policy's for overnight trips.
It is.
But we have done many trips, day trips, and obviously this is a different day
4
trip.
a.m. to 11 p.m.
This is
that's all.
a different day trip, but
And
the policy
just-
was for overnight trips.
And we went big. We would definitely need to leave at the 4 a.m. timeframe to be there in order to get all the students outfitted for the trip. 11 was that was our extreme. If we thought we were at the latest, we'd be returning by 11. So we figured to go on the high side to be safe. I'm thinking it's probably gonna be closer to 10.
Still one other question. Yeah. Jason, the cost has increased. Do you have some type of fund for students that may be in need?
Yes.
Discreetly?
Yeah. We'd give every student the opportunity to attend this trip, absolutely.
That's my one question. Mr. Campo?
Couple of things. Have you spoken to other class advisors? While you've made a lot of planning and you have the money for the buses, what about the classes that are gonna follow you? I would assume that once you start something like this, that'll be something that goes along here. has there been conversations with the other advisors on the fundraising, if this is something that the other classes would do, because it's become almost like a tradition?
I wouldn't say we've really had discussion. It's very public knowledge that we want to move on from the Six Flags trip, and I think that's a common idea among all the advisors. What we can run with and what we can't run with, we're still trying to figure out, which is part of the reason why we're here, because we don't know how much we're allowed to do and how much we're not allowed to do. I know that in speaking with, Corinne Murphy, who is the current freshman advisor, she's new to this, so she's kind of on the learning track. I know she definitely was looking into some other ideas. Every year we speak as advisors, and for example, Mary and I just had a conversation with Scott Sigard, who is the senior class advisor, and he gave us his budget for this year and what they spent money on and what they still had left over in their account. And we sort of do that for one another every year to make sure that we are on the right track. We just did our budget for next year to make sure that we are going to have enough money. But as far as it becoming a tradition, I don't think that's something that we've addressed.
It's an excellent point, though, and if I may, much like the prom, we would invite next year's advisors to, certainly to that presentation to the parents and the students, if the students want to go ahead and do this, so that they would have a feel for the entire process as it goes
One of
along.
the things that I see happening, if this is one thing, and then next year, the overnight trip comes, if there's that much freedom in this, I think you end up with a wide assortment of options here that may create problems down the road. I mean, Six Flags, I think, Michael went to that, and he's 28 now, so that's about 10 years that it maybe not be the right one, but everyone seems to do it, and that's, I guess, where I'm going, that you don't have every class picking something else.
Right, we'd be looking for consistency with the senior class trip.
I think the fundraising issue is probably not an issue, because all classes, at least the 4 years I've been here, have raised about the same amount of money, and your major fundraising happens in your junior and your senior year anyway. The activities are very similar, and as a matter of fact, we've become more creative in major fundraising for the classes. A good example was the dodgeball tournament, which was a charity thing, but also Mr. LHS and all the other stuff. I think it's a matter of how successful this trip is to see. I could safely say, even though I will not be here, that as long as the superintendent is here, I can guarantee you that there probably would not be an overnight trip, because that has been tried each year for the last 3 years, and it's never gotten to the school board. And I don't think, knowing Jason, it would go to the school board, and knowing the superintendent, I can almost guarantee it wouldn't go to the school board. So I don't think the overnight trip is an issue. I think the success of their trip will really affect on whether or not the next class wants to pick it up, but I don't think fundraising will be an issue.
And if I could just comment on that, you can be as aggressive with fundraising as you want to be. We are very aggressive with fundraising because we want to be ahead. We don't want our kids to have to do a ton of work next year, their senior year, which is why we started working on this in September, so that we would know that we would have everything covered for them. And that's kind of the same mentality that we've ran with since the beginning, since we met them freshman year. I think that if the other advisors take on the same mentality, which we know working with them they do have, then the raising of the money for the trip wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have to admit, when I was reading this, I was concerned, as we spoke about, the class 4 out of 5 rapids, will be a challenge, and that kind of turned me off. I'll be honest, to have the kids up there in that type of situation. I think the other part that you explained, that you have the option of what you're doing here, should be in the letter, to explain that it's a complete, you don't have to go whitewater rafting in this, and I think that's something that parents would be very comfortable with as they read something like this. I don't think I'm going to send my kids up there for that. I mean, that's something that you might want to consider. And the other part is, if the children do, or the question is, if the children do not go on the whitewater rafting, is it still the same fee, since a lot of it's based on the helmets and all that stuff.
I'll have you answer the second
Yeah.
part, but the first part of your question, I believe there are drop points
Right, that's what
as well, so I'll let you address that.
The river has, the top of the river, if you will, includes 3 different rapid sections. And there's a midpoint to the river that's bus accessible. So if we had a large group of students, obviously they'd be chaperoned to join us at it's not quite the midpoint of the river, but the top half, obviously being more of a rapid section, is going to go faster than the bottom half of the river. But it's a shallow area where all boats congregate on the river, and basically, I guess you could say, anchor in a way. And there's snacks and drinks provided by the company. And at this point, it's completely accessible from the road, which neither one of us necessarily saw because we were down on the river, but would be bus accessible for any students that chose to not participate in the rapid section. The bottom half of the river is very, very calm, and it's more just a sit back, and if you have to paddle, it's only because if you don't, you'll end up stopping, and you'll end up off the side, and you won't be going anywhere. So it's a much more relaxed atmosphere. In the place that we were able to camp, obviously we did it in an overnight fashion. It would be more of a camping nature where the barbecue is provided. It's a large field, probably the size of a soccer field, and as Crystal was saying in the beginning, we can have horseshoes set up, we could have just kids being able to take advantage of being together and hanging out, and of course we would delegate chaperones accordingly. So in that respect, if a student felt that they didn't want the challenge of a Class 4 rapid, then they could absolutely take advantage of just joining us at that midpoint and rafting down with the rest of the class in a more relaxed atmosphere.
Or just the opposite, if they start out and decide that, this isn't for me, they can get out at that point.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And I think that would be something we would obviously decide before we got up there to accommodate, make sure we have.
And we'll be grouping the kids in accordance to what they feel will be the best situation for them on the buses before they leave.
Thank you, and I certainly applaud you for thinking of something different. I, for one, have no issue with, senior class trips changing year to year. I think that's frankly up to advisors and up to the kids and, wherever they want to decide within certain parameters of safety, and I think you've addressed them. The one question I was actually going to have, you've already answered, was make sure every kid could go. That was my concern when somebody asked me about it, I guess, and I wanted to make sure the special needs kids could go, as well as the kids who, may not have the funds to do that. Nate, what exactly did you need from us?
We just would like to have the board grant its approval so we can move ahead. Because this was a change from what we've done in the past, we thought it would be appropriate to bring to the board, give the board an idea, get it out in the public, and then move on.
Okay, so I guess I would take a
George, I'll make a motion that the board approve or acquiesce to the proposed class of 2009 senior trip.
Enthusiastically
Outlined
motioned by
in this
Mr.
letter.
Parker.
I'll second the approve, but not the acquiesce.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much, we really appreciate it.
Good luck.
For moving us up. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
No problem. We're more than willing to accommodate. Okay, going back, Mr. Blunt. Science Committee. We got our Mr. Wizard table set up here. Doesn't trust us with all of them.
Well, thank you. I'm pleased this evening to present to the board the Elementary Science Committee recommendation. Just like to go through some of the highlights this evening on the committee's recommendation. First, the charge of the committee. They were to examine a variety of research, inquiry-based science programs from the major publishers and scientific companies in order to meet new standards and expectations of the New Hampshire science frameworks and grade level expectations. This process and selection of appropriate learning materials was focused on providing a balance between key science content and inquiry through hands-on activities that support the major areas of life, earth, physical, space, and technology. Strengthening consistency of science both vertically and horizontally across and between grade levels, including transitions from elementary to middle school. Monitoring tools and assessments upon which our teachers and administration can make informed decisions throughout the year in curriculum and instruction, and the ability to reinforce key science content at below level, on level, and advanced reading levels. Additionally, the committee also examined the quality of inquiry-based activities and tested final considerations in the classrooms in order to reach this recommendation. The rationale for our recommendation this evening, which is found on the green sheets, page 1, why do this? Age of our existing program is 13 plus years old. Secondly, to meet standards set by the 2006 New Hampshire Science Frameworks and grade level expectations. To improve consistency of curriculum between and across grade levels in science, including transitions from elementary to middle school. To improve consistency and quality of student research component between classroom teachers and library media specialists. To improve parent and student access to the learning materials through secure web-based electronic texts and resources as well as hard copy text. To thoroughly monitor student progress along the way and to productively inform teacher instruction in a timely manner, and the ability of administration to monitor the curriculum at an individual class or grade level. When did the committee meet? We met several times through January, starting in January and reaching our recommendation in May. We had a variety of committee members. We had parents. We had teacher representatives from all 3 schools and at all 3 grade levels, grades 3, 4, and 5. Assistant principals, a library media specialist, Charlotte DeBell, and special ed coordinator at North School, Linda Kuchar. We reviewed 3 publishers, Pearson Delta Education, Carolina Biological, and Pearson Scott Forsman. 6 programs were reviewed among the 3 companies. The recommendation is Pearson Scott Forsman Science. It's a copyright 2008. On page 2 is a description of the committee's recommendation on the green sheets. The Elementary Science Committee is recommending Scott Forsman Science due to its strong alignment with the national science education standards from which the New Hampshire science frameworks and grade level expectations were based. Science is a comprehensive science program that is organized into core areas of life, earth, physical, and space and technology. Each area contains a balance between key science content and hands-on activities that support each lesson. Further, the committee found appealing its access points to Scott Forsman Reading Street program and the 3 content level readers per chapter that reinforce the same key science content at below, on level, and advanced reading levels. Flipping over, in 2008-09, our recommendation for science is to pilot 2 classrooms per grade level, per school, grades 3 through 5 at South, Matthew Thornton, and North School. The pilot team would also work with special education staff from each school. There would be an evaluation piece in the spring of '09 with the expectation in the fall of '09 that we would go for full implementation, grades 3 through 5 at all schools. For '08-09, to phase in the program, the cost would be within our budget parameters as set forth last year. It's comes in at 24.5 approximately, and the projected figures are for 09-010 are slightly over $50,000. The savings in the program as we phase in 08-09, total savings in 08-09 are approximately $98,340. Basically, all grade 3 student text, leveled readers, teacher resources, and technology is no charge. All grade 4 student text, leveled readers, teacher resources, and technology is no charge. And at grade 5, buy one, get one free on student text at grade 5. Going into full implementation, again, there would be no charge on any of the grade 3 materials or online resources, and buy one, get one free on student text at grades 4 and 5. Scott Forsman will also provide full replacement of consumable workbooks through the 2010-11 school year, and will provide additional student additions due to enrollment increases at no charge for the next 2 school years out to 2010 to 2011. Are there any questions?
Ben, you have something?
Did you type this yourself?
Believe me, it took some time.
Such a nasty person.
I'm all set, thank you.
I want to know if Ben got to the page about how fossil fuels damage the
I'm on that right now, actually.
298.
This is very good, by the way. Thank you for the rationale section.
Thank
I think it was 298 then. John?
I just wonder what the hubbub is. Has science changed in 13 years?
Science, well, science has changed in 13 years, and I think Ron was probably here when the SKIS program was introduced many years ago, and I think the district got more than its money's worth on that program, and I think the teachers will be pleased that this recommendation go forward.
So it doesn't have, the atom is our friend anymore, Ron. Yeah. They took out the atom is our friend.
I know.
I bet it is in here.
Well, we found our entertainment.
I thought it was great. That explained why club soda has to be kept cold to keep the bubbles in it. I mean, there's lots of good stuff in here.
It really is.
Kids are going
It's pretty
to have a
practical,
blast.
so, yeah. What grade is that one?
It's 4th grade.
That's the 4th grade book?
Are you smarter than a
Yes, I
fourth
think, I'm not going there.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that the board accept the recommendations on the elementary science committee's recommendation for this Pearson Scott's Forgeman Science.
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So it is, sir.
Thank you.
Make it so.
No bar mitzvah for the old science program, I guess.
No, that's right. It's not gonna make it to.
It's just gonna start official live.
That's
The
it.
last science program.
All right, moving along. YMCA contract. Back again, round 2.
Yes, we're back again, and representatives from the Y are here, and
On up.
I'm sure they will divulge their findings from the board. If you remember, the board had asked them to kind of lay out their pricing increases to their constituents, their customers. They did that. They had a meeting on last Thursday. We report back briefly some of the highlights of the meeting, but I'm sure Lisa's here and they can expand exactly what happened. The few parents that did show up at the meeting and some of the emails that they got.
Yes, we did move forward with the meeting last Thursday.
Could you just give us your name for the record,
Lisa
please?
Fitzgerald, and I'm
Thank
the
you,
branch
Lisa.
director.
Thanks.
And I'm Mary Shays Blackford. I'm the Director of Child Care Services.
Thank you.
So we did hold a meeting at our branch. Last Thursday, we sent around a memo to all of the parents prior to that. We did receive some phone calls from folks that could not attend the meeting, giving us some feedback, as well as we had about 5 or 7 folks that did show up for the meeting, providing us some feedback as well.
It was kind of more of a round circle type of session in which we just kind of socialized and dialogued a little bit about what we're doing moving forward for the fall, for some enhancements in that after-school program, as well as solicit some feedback from them of what they've seen and what they'd like to see change moving forward. The gist of the feedback that we received was billing issues, kind of smoothing out the billing process, the invoices that go out that, haven't been as accurate, or they're not up to date. The billing system is already in transit, so we had indicated that to them, that there are changes in that whole process, so come fall, it most certainly will be smoother. Staff training, a little bit more on the enhancement of staff training, because we do hire junior and senior counselors, who are some of which are high school students. They just elicit some feedback on kind of some of the behavioral stuff and dealing with some of the issues, just providing them with a little bit more staff training. Which is most certainly easy enough to do, and we most certainly what other feedback did we receive?
We talked at length about some of the things that parents want to feel when they leave a program. When they drop their child off at school in the morning and they drop them at a Y program, they're not leaving them with a teacher in a classroom where there's a very predictable set of circumstances, but we want them to have a sense that they're dropping their child off in a very nurturing environment that is predictable for them and their child, and they can leave with that comfort. So we talked about some of what that looks like, what that sounds like to a parent, and talked about different ways to ensure that there is routine and that there's a variety of activities for a child to do by themselves versus with a group of children, and talked more about the programmatic pieces. We talked about, with a couple of parents, about their own children and their own children's behavior. And so it turned into a little bit more of a parenting support conversation, which I value. I think it's great that the Y can kind of be seen as a partner to families more than just a regular old babysitter or a child care provider, that we really want to partner with families in raising healthy kids. So it was I thank you guys for the recommendation, because
It was very valuable.
it was so nice to be able to put a face on so many more of these parents, and to see them when they weren't in a rush, but to sit down and talk with them. That I think we're going to actually make this part of our quarterly routine with parents. I think it's a very valid approach. So thanks.
And even offering them the rates for the next upcoming couple of years, there wasn't one comment regarding the rates. Not one comment did we receive saying the rates are, are higher than we anticipated. We wouldn't be able to participate at this point in time, or, any comments negative about that. We didn't receive any comments regarding the rates.
Thanks. Anybody, John?
Well, first, thank you for doing that. I know I was one of the people who expressed concern at the previous meeting about voting at that point. I just want to reiterate that my concern was never with the quality of the program. In fact, at least one of my daughters, and I think both of them, have been in Y programs at one time or another and loved them. It was simply that I wasn't comfortable casting a vote that would bind all the payers at that time. So thank you for making the effort.
We appreciate it. We
And-
felt that it was valuable to us.
End of statement.
Thanks, John. Actually, I received one phone call from one of your parents yesterday. Happens to be one of school children's parents as well, who actually was surprised that we had asked you to have the meeting, because thought she was pretty well informed and was completely happy with the program, as well as thought it was a great deal and she was getting her money's worth. So I'll pass that on to you. But we do thank you for following up on that. And if we have nothing else, I'll take a motion.
Move to accept.
Well, actually,
Sorry.
Wow, they're fighting over
no,
making a
I was
motion.
just gonna do it
I'm liking it.
specifically with what Peter wanted.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, but we can't offer whitewater rafting.
No, but you do have a great auction tomorrow that
Yes,
you
we
didn't
do.
tell anybody about.
Oh,
Okay.
well, we didn't.
Yeah, I mean, the three people out in the audience are going to want to know. Come on.
Please join us. We have Patriots tickets, Red Sox tickets.
Right, and that's
At the Tupelo
Tupolo's.
Music Hall.
Hold on a second. What do you mean Red Sox tickets?
Red Sox tickets.
It's an
Yankees tickets?
Oh, no, sorry.
No, this is getting out of hand.
Sorry.
So that's at.
I'm sorry, go ahead, I'll take a motion.
Tupelos tomorrow night at what time?
Thursday evening.
Thursday.
6 to 8.
The Yankees, aren't they the ones who dropped
Stop.
two to the Mets?
Stop it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the terms of the contract with the YMCA for the 2 option years and approval of an additional 2 option years.
Second.
A motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Ladies, thank you very much. Continued success.
Thank you.
Even with that indisputable home run having been called a foul ball.
Yeah.
We're gonna bury you, boys and girls.
Keep in mind the following numbers, 26 and 2. 26 world championships for one team, who happens to live in New York, 2 for Boston.
Let's see, we're gonna skip right over that.
This century.
Sue, where are you? There you are.
Century's only
I'm
8
looking
years
for you
old.
always in your usual spot. Now, am I moving again?
What's that? Yes, you're gonna have to move just briefly. I only have a few little slides here. At the meeting on April 22nd, the board heard a wonderful presentation from Karen Robinson and some of our students involved with radio broadcasting at Londonderry High School, and had the opportunity to hear about the fact that over the past several years, we've really gained some traction in making radio part of our schools and providing some curriculum opportunities for students. But we also had a second part of that presentation that we've delayed until this evening, and when I briefly spoke to the board on the 22nd, I said that our concern now is we have all these wonderful things happening on WLLOLP, but we're not sure that people are really listening. We know they're listening, but, go ahead. We have a need for better transmission at this point in time, especially because we have so much more variety and so much more of a local voice on our transmission. But we originally built WLLO to satisfy affordability constraints. Some board members who have been around for a while may recollect that we wrote a grant to initially get a lot of the equipment that we put in place for WLLO. We also received a very generous donation from Mercury Computers that allowed us to place an antenna at North School. And the reason that North School is the site of our antenna had a lot to do with the application process at the time, and John Robinson was very much involved with that, and it was our best guess at where we would actually get a spot on the dial, was to locate the antenna in the northern end of town, but that means that the southern end of town, the southern part of town, doesn't pick up the signal as well. You can see from this little diagram, this is our current coverage based on current installation. And the next slide will show you what we could achieve with a taller antenna. If you want to look at them side by side, you can tell here that the red, yellow, and green means better coverage. And again, we're concerned with making sure that our radio signal gets to the southern part of Londonderry as well as other parts of Londonderry. We have accommodated for the fact that the signal strength in South Londonderry is not as great by simulcasting on Channel 28, on the local access Channel 28, and also on Channel 21 when we're not running video programming. But that means that people who are in cars, and a lot of our students would like to pick up the signal in cars, are not able to hear us as well as we would like. Thank you, Peter. When we get feedback from our listeners, and we do have listeners, but they're saying that the largest impediment to improving our listenership is our weak coverage. So basically, we need to provide better coverage, and I'd like to talk to you about some options that we've been exploring to see if we can do that. We've been looking at 3 options. Well, actually, over the years, we've looked at a multitude of options, but at this point in time, these seem to be 3 feasible options. The first option is to add 50 feet to the existing tower at North School. The second is to put a 60, 70-foot mounting pole atop the North School gym. And the third option is to put a 70 to 80-foot mounting pole on higher land on the North School campus. Option 1, adding 50 feet to the existing tower. Our current tower is built using multiple stacked 10-foot modules. Short of replacing that existing tower with a design better suited to purposes, our second choice is to install additional tower elements. But as the current tower elements are secured to the wall, higher elements would need to be stabilized by guide wires. Option 2, 60 to 70-foot mounting pole atop the North School gym. When we originally looked at North School, understanding that our antenna would have to be located there, our real first choice was to put a mounting pole on top of the North School roof. But because North School was going to be undergoing a major renovation and there was going to be work done on the roof, rightfully, Chuck Zappala had some concerns about that, and we had some concerns about what would engineering requirements be, what would insurance require for that. So we kind of set that aside, and but we're coming back to it again because in terms of operation and maintaining, in terms of operation and maintenance of our radio station, this would be a very desirable solution. We could directly feed an RF feed line from the transmitter and directly into the antenna, and we could make sure the pole was mounted on a hinged base that will allow for reasonably easy maintenance from time to time and inspection. Option 3, mounting a pole on higher land at North School, was brought up when LAFA worked with the Town Rec Commission to install lights at North School. And there was discussion about examining what would the incremental cost be of making one of those light poles high enough to provide a good antenna mount. The field at North School is higher than the ground level at the actual building, so that would give us some height. And there are some considerations impacting this option because of access issues. We'd probably have to, over time, if we needed maintenance, have to hire an outside contractor to do that for us because of the way we would be mounting on that. So, in conclusion, our participants and listeners have told us that while they're listening, our limited signal coverage is the largest impediment to growth and expansion and improving listenership. That our current means of transmitting was kind of a compromise designed to get us off the ground, and now that we have over time increased the visibility, the use of radio in our curriculum, we feel that now's the time to think about going forward and finding a solution to get better signal coverage. And the choice of which way to go is something that needs to be thought about in terms of balancing consideration of cost effectiveness, maintainability, and opportunities for leveraging other investments to increase affordability of needed improvements. As many people know, WLLO has made every effort, along with all of our LEO endeavors, to not tap into the general fund. We've done underwriting, sponsorships, we've written grants, we've taken donations, we scavenge equipment. We look at all kinds of ways of creatively keeping our station on the air without impacting the taxpayer. And we would certainly look at continuing to do that. But I wanted to be able to let the board know that as we have improved radio coverage in Londonderry and become more and more a voice for the community and have ability to do things that other outlets don't necessarily have the ability to do, that if we want to see the radio station have increasing impact, that it's time to start to look at what we might do to move forward. So, sorry we couldn't discuss this with you on the 22nd, but thank you for the opportunity for letting me come here this evening.
Oh, glad to have you, Sue. Any questions, comments?
Sue, can I ask a really dumb question? why, now that we're looking to put up a new pole or something, why wouldn't we go in the center of town?
John has raised his hand, we'll answer that,
Would you
but.
like me to take that one?
Yeah, you can.
Ron, the way that low-power radio stations are licensed is based on distance as the crow flies from other stations using the same frequency. And it turns out that North School is just about as far south as we can possibly get in Londonderry and have a frequency available to us. We looked at I looked at the tower proposed for the top of the hill. I can't remember the name of the street.
Kelly Road?
Kelly. And that turns out to be about 600 feet too far south. So pretty much the two choices of geography, or the few choices of geography that are open to us, are staying at north, maybe going to the water tower over, if anybody knows the
By
name of
exit
that
5.
street. Yeah, by exit 5, or Reed Clark's cell phone tower.
Okay, thanks, John. Anybody else on this side?
Any, if you increase the height of the tower, any FAA issues?
No, there are not any FAA issues, because when we applied for the license, again, that location was clearly indicated on the application, and as long as we stay below, I think it's the tree line, or, again, John
We'll
knows.
still be below the
If
tree
it's-
line at 100
yeah.
feet, amazingly.
Help all of us, but.
Okay, so I guess at some point you'll come back with a
Yes, what
proposal
we'd like
for
to do
us?
is explore some options. We have been talking with Chuck about, especially option 2, which seems to be probably the most feasible and practical. So I think that it's probably a good time for now to bring some people together to come up with a real proposal that fills in the blanks, almost in the same way that we would fill in the blanks on a technology initiative to show what this will ultimately cost, what's the total cost to us, how we might finance that, what next steps we might take, and come back to you. But I just did want to give you kind of a heads up as to where things are right now.
Thank you.
Is any
Great.
formal authorization needed to do that?
I don't believe so, no. I think we can just go ahead and.
Okay.
We're not
forward.
doing anything.
Yeah, we're not doing anything, so.
So I shall return.
We hope so. We hope so. Okay, and the last agenda item that we've got is a discussion about the high school assistant principal, and I think that was generated by some questions that had come up, whether an opportunity, why don't you come on up, Jay? Whether this may be an opportunity to take a look at either consolidating or looking at eliminating a position and that type of thing. So I'll just leave it to you guys, and then we'll have a discussion.
Thank you. Just to give you some brief background, and as most of the board recalls, the 4th assistant principal position was added 5 years ago when I was offered the job. And I believe the reason for adding the 4th position was twofold. First, the New Hampshire Department of Education recommends a ratio of 1 assistant principal for every 500 students and 1 guidance counselor for every 300 students. At that time, the high school, the ratio was slightly over this, roughly 75 students, per assistant principal. So the high school needed to add an additional administrator and counselor to cover the growing number of projected students, so they created another house office. Currently, it's House 3, which I belong to. I think the school board and superintendent also recognized the need for more additional programs and services for our at-risk population. We were losing close to 50 students, or just over 50 students per year that were dropping out, and we did not have a lot of academic programs for them to find success. So over that time, my individual responsibilities entail being the director of adult education, the chief examiner for the GED testing center, director for summer school, and some of the preventative programs we have, like the incoming freshman transition program, the World Studies program, and generating the alternative ed program reports, and we've seen a lot of success with that. And I just want to highlight some of the individual responsibilities at each house office. For the House 4 assistant principal, that individual is responsible to be the 504 coordinator, Title IX coordinator, student handbook editor, overseeing the teacher web pages, overseeing school pictures, supervision of the school store, generating discipline reports, serving on the communication committee, and responsible for the outside CAF signs and message board. For the House 1 assistant principal, the individual responsibilities entail coordinating and managing all of the academies, freshman, sophomore, and upper academy, editing the teacher handbook, director of parking, the freshman orientation coordinator, and that person chairs and facilitates the literacy committee, which is a district initiative. And finally, the House 2 individual responsibilities include overseeing the emergency plans for the school, co-curricular fundraising, school calendar and events, room assignments, furniture moves, keys, pep rallies, assemblies, scheduling, buses, telephones, lockers, and academic awards. So those are the individual responsibilities that each AP has at the high school. Collectively, we are also responsible for the daily operation of the high school, which currently serves 1,827 students and over 160 staff members. The student management in 3 of the houses is roughly 520 students per house, houses 1, 2, and 4. And I have 270 students because it's based on the counselors, so that's the caseload for that counselor. We are responsible for managing the house office, obviously developing more close relationships with our students, which are divided by alphabet in grades 9 through 12. We have ongoing supervision of teachers. We are expected to conduct routine classroom visits, evaluate teachers and support staff using the Danielson model, and that's approximately 15 to 20 teachers per year. Provide administrative coverage and supervision for all after-school and evening events and activities. Attend IEP meetings, 504 meetings, manifestation meetings. Attend parent and teacher conferences, continue contacts with those individuals, and be available and accessible to them. Present data to the school board. We cover the CAF duties, periods D, E, F, and G. So there's an administrator on duty along with some staff members. We are visible in the lobbies and hallways between all classes. We each have morning and afternoon bus duty in various locations of our school. And obviously we function as members of building level administrative team working towards district goals and strategic planning. We also log in and access our student management system. The impact of the 4 assistant principals at the high school over the past 5 years, what we've seen is a decrease in disciplinary incidents with our student population, personalized academic and behavioral planning for every student, a decreased dropout rate from 2.7% 5 years ago to 0.7%, a 3-tier model of high school completion with the 24-credit, 20-credit diploma and the GED certificate, increase at-risk academic programs and services that are preventative in nature, more attention and accountability for our 504 plans, further development of smaller learning communities, particularly with the academies, which creates a forum for teachers to discuss issues ranging from academics, social issues, instructional issues by grade level, continual support of school-wide initiatives such as literacies and the classroom walkthroughs, organization of co-curricular programs and continual development of school events such as Beautiful Lengths, Mr. LHS, Dodgeball Tourney, etc. And we've received state recognition. I don't want to speak for Mr. Elefante, but I'm sure he would say when he was awarded the Principal of the Year in 2006 that the 4 assistant principals helped towards that effort to allow him to do his job and to lead our school. I would say that the Assistant Principal of the Year in 2007 was a shared award amongst the 4 of us. And I can also say that the Excellence in Education in 2008, that award as High School of the Year, I'd like to think that the 4 APs contributed to that effort, and we're proud of that. So I believe having 4 assistant principals at the high school is entirely appropriate. I think that as the 9th largest high school in the state of New Hampshire, we're able to offer a lot of the programs and services because of the administrative team we have in place. And I'll allow Jim to speak a little to it as well.
No, I think you did a great job. The only thing I would say is I certainly think the board has the responsibility to the community to look at this position. But I would say to the board that this would be the one position that I would strongly recommend that you don't look to reduce. I think everything that has been built upon for this high school in the past years is a direct result of the administrative staff and the support that you have from those assistant principals. You build a school on atmosphere. The atmosphere of the building has been so positive, which has really been directly responsible to those assistant principals to the visibility of those assistant principals and to the student context they have had. And I would think that a look at reducing it would dismantle all that positive stuff to a negative effect. So I would strongly urge the board to allow the high school to proceed with the hiring of the 4th assistant principal, which is really a 3.5 assistant principals at the high school, not truly 4.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jay. And questions?
George?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
I've been asked this question twice, and I'm just curious how you would answer it, although the data that you've provided is very good. But the question has been put, and it always seems to be the same number. When I grew up, I only had one assistant principal for the whole school of 1,500 students. Why do you need 4?
I would answer that by citing the programs and services that we offer, the initiatives that we try to drive, and what we are currently accountable for, which is the success of every single student in our high school. I don't think, and I don't want to speak too far into the past, but I would assume that assistant principals who had a caseload of 1,500 students were strictly doing discipline, and that has been the role, the perceived role of an assistant principal, is that they deal with student management and discipline, and they dole out consequences. And I'm not even sure there are necessarily, with that many people, many conversations that go on to take corrective measures for a student's behavior. We process with the students. We pride ourselves in knowing them.
Both these cases, I'd estimate that they went to school in the 70s.
Okay. So I would say that the role of the assistant principal has dramatically changed over that time, and it's more, I think, seen as a resource for students and staff and parents in the community. They're instructional leaders and looking to continue the improvement of education in our school. It's not necessarily the...
Jim, what would you do with your day if you only had one assistant principal?
Well, I'd be spending all my time. Well, first of all, I would have, if I had one assistant principal, then I would have to take 60 teachers and divide their supervision and evaluations into the other administrators, meaning the principal, the one assistant principal, and 2 curriculum coordinators. So that would give probably each administrator a responsibility of about 35 people to supervise, directly supervise, including evaluate. And I don't even think in the business world they certainly don't handle that number. I also think of multiply the principal's phone calls and meetings with students, triple that. I think you have to realize the administrative structure at the high school, not having department heads, creates, rightfully so, a more of a responsibility for assistant principals than just what is traditionally known as like a dean of students. There are some schools that are just set up that they have some administrators that just deal with discipline. First of all, I don't think any of my administrators would want to just do that because they want to get into the educational aspects of students. So I think you would just take everybody else's job and triple it. Remember, as I said, visibility is everything. When we came on board, one thing we insisted on, and I think you guys know this, if there is something going on at the high school, whether it's 6 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, there's going to be administrative coverage there. Whether it's a dance, where you definitely need it, or whether it's an induction to Honor Society, which you don't need administrative coverage, we still have administrators there because that's what builds the atmosphere. That's what builds the community relations that I think we have. You would start taking that away.
Thanks. John?
They are the worker bees of the school. When I heard Jay listing all the things the assistant principals were doing, I said, gee, what do I do? I guess I make sure they do it.
Jim. A lot of people said the same thing. John?
Professor Elefante, I was with you on your earlier comments right up until you said 3.5 assistant principals.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that means. Could you explain?
Well, Jay's position really is a caseload of a half of the assistant principal because his other role is the adult ed or alternative ed principal, for lack of a better term. So his house has half the caseload, student population-wise, with one counselor as compared to the two counselors as the other three houses. So if you looked at the traditional assistant principal role of students, that's 3.5. Although we do have full-time assistant principals, if you could divide it as saying we have 3.5 assistant principals and a half-time adult ed principal. And you can imagine, as you know, how that program has grown in the 4 or 5 years that we've had that program, and we're still doing it with the same coverage that we had. And you also have to remember, at this point in time, now I know that in the future that may change, but at this point in time, our student enrollment at the high school is as high as it's ever been. You know, next year's enrollment is going to be within 5 or 10 students of what this year's enrollment was in the year before. So the numbers haven't changed at all.
And the one other question I had, it's similar to what Steve said regarding when I was in school, et cetera, et cetera. I think I heard a couple of meetings ago that the current funding proposal from the state envisions how many assistant principals being necessary in the high school? I think that was 1. Does anybody remember that exactly?
I don't remember, John, but.
I think they were following the state guidelines, it's one per 500 student.
Okay.
Yeah, but
All right.
they use the state guidelines, they use 3 years for the teacher's salary, but.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
All right, good enough. Thanks very much.
Just to give you one more thing, the first superintendent I ever worked for was, as a principal, was Mr. Olet. And he used to have his favorite saying that you don't always get what you pay for, but you never get what you don't pay for. Well, I'm here to tell you that you are getting what you're paying for with those 4 assistant principals. So just keep that in mind.
I'd probably say we're getting more than we're paying for, but I'm not going to argue with you. Ronnie?
Yeah, just a little bit of a history, and Nate was here at the time when the original proposal came up for the night school. It was the assistant principal, because the population was going up, and a night school director. And the board at that time came out and said, you have a choice. You can have an assistant principal, or you can have a night school director. You're not getting both.
Right.
And that was how we got the 3.5 to the 3.5 portion of it. I think in the future, you know, somewhere around 4 years down the way, we may want to revisit this. In my mind, that this could be revisited, but I don't think this is the time with 1,800 students in the building.
No. Thanks. Anybody else? Okay, and then with that, I just happen to think that the structure that we have now is one of the keys to our success. So as much as I like to discuss and talk and fight for changes, this is not one of the areas that I think is the right thing to do. So I am completely comfortable with that. It's an integral part of our success, and I believe we should stay like that. So with that, the only other thing is I did get confirmation from the town council, and it's not on our agenda, so Nate, I'd ask that you publish it, but on June 5th, we will have a joint meeting with the town council at our request. We came up with the June 5th date, 7 p.m., and I believe it's probably in this room, but we need to confirm that.
It's a joint meeting.
Yeah, that's the 10-2-5. And with that,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A3, Section 2, A through F.
motion,
Second.
motion is second, roll call, please. George Herman.
Hi, John.
If you're in this room, you are on the air.
Hey, Carol?
Yeah.